Most transgender people live with a profound sense that the gender assigned to them at birth was wrong and then transition to the opposite sex, while others live a non-binary or gender-fluid life. A spokeswoman for the Department of Health and Human Services declined to comment on what she called the alleged leaked documents, but cited a ruling by a conservative U.S. district judge as a guide to transgender policy. Ruling on a challenge to one aspect of the Affordable Care Act, U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor in Texas found in 2016 that there was no protection against discrimination on the basis of gender identity. A leading transgender advocate called the government's reported action a super aggressive, dismissive, dangerous move. Mara Keisling, director of the National Center for Transgender Rights, said in an interview, "They are saying we don't exist." The Obama administration enacted regulations and followed court rulings that protected transgender people from discrimination, upsetting religious conservatives. The Trump administration has sought to ban transgender people from military service and rescinded guidance to public schools recommending that transgender students be allowed to use the restroom of their choice. According to The Times, a draft of the Trump administration memo says that gender should be determined on a biological basis that is clear, grounded in science, objective, and administrable. Medical science seeks to explain what makes people transgender is in its infancy. Psychiatrists no longer consider being transgender a disorder, and several U.S. courts have found the Obama interpretation of protecting transgender people against discrimination as sound. But the Trump administration has chosen to abide by the ruling of O'Connor. Roger Severino, director of the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Health and Human Services, said in a statement, "The court order remains in full force and effect today, and HHS is abiding by it as we continue to review the issue." Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new teen trend of walking wet and nude couldn't have caught on at a worse time, and a taxpayer is outraged. And lo, the Lord said unto the Israelites, "Look unto the heavens, and you shall see a news review program to rival the greatest wonders of the earth. This is the Onion Week in Review." As a front of dense, frigid air and snow showers brought sub-zero temperatures to much of the country this week, Canton, Ohio residents noted that the blanketing of snow they had received created the illusion that their town was not a total shithole. Residents added that unlike its typical depressing reality, the snow-cloaked town actually looked halfway livable.
Canton is usually a miserable little dump, but you know when that first snow fell and covered everything in a layer of white powder? For about 5 minutes it was like not everything I saw depressed the living out of me.
Reports from locals also confirmed that for a brief period, the streets, parks, and buildings around them gave the surprising impression of not being a run-down, heartbreaking excuse for a hometown.
This is the Onion News Network.
What the interesting is we sort of fail completely in role, right? I'm the mayor of a city that...
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And it's Johnson.
Of course, you can take control of the airwaves here, and that is the point of the program. There's all kinds of interesting stuff in the news tonight. Actually, I've had some of these stories for a few days, and I just think they're really cool. I don't know where. I'm actually a little confused. I don't know where to start. A sex robot has apparently joined Tinder, so that happened.
Okay.
And let's see. Also here in the news, Amazon workers are upset, or rather the Whole Foods workers are upset. They are afraid that they're going to be roboticized in the future. We can talk about all that stuff. Plus Antifa apparently they faked out, or somebody claiming to be Antifa faked out some Trump supporters. Maybe we'll start with this one here. This just happened 2 days ago in Gastonia, North Carolina, where several dozen people showed up to a North Carolina outdoor store on Saturday to mount a counter-protest against an Antifa rally that didn't exist. A recent Facebook page called Gaston County Antifa, which is a portmanteau for anti-fascist, had posted earlier in the week that group members, quote, from at least 10 states, unquote, were planning to gather in front of the Gander Outdoors store in the Franklin Square Shopping Center in Gastonia. Other than the Facebook page, there's no evidence of any such group actually existing in Gaston County, but that didn't stop those spreading the rumors. Even local website Charlotte Stories ran a widely shared article about the fake rally to beat. The dozens of counter-protesters stood in front of the Gander store waving flags, including U.S., Confederate, and Trump flags. Who knew there was a Trump flag? Has anybody seen this? A Trump flag?
Is this like a Make America Great Again?
I don't know.
I think it's just like the sign, right? The blue sign with a white text just as a flag.
What, just Trump, you mean? With like the
Well, it's like the square, sort of like the square framing of the sign, and then it's just blue.
When you say the sign,
no,
you mean...
I know what it is. I have seen this before.
You mean Trump Make America...
It's a blue flag, right? So like a navy blue that has Trump in big letters.
Right.
Then below that, with the same sort of alignment, Make America Great Again, from edge to edge of Trump, right? And then that's surrounded by a very thin red line that's broken by 5 stars on the bottom and 5 stars on the top.
I see. Okay. Got it. So like basically a Trump campaign flag.
Right. A campaign sign that's been made into a flag.
Got it. So they had Trump flags, they had Confederate flags, U.S. flags, and some, like Terry Pennington, came from outside of the country to be at the outdoor store. A massive American flag flies from the parking lot in front of the store.
So basically trolling created a pro-Trump rally.
Right. A massive American flag flies from the parking lot, and Pennington said he'd heard that Antifa members were going to light it on fire. He said, quote, "They ain't here because they're still in their mama's basement." Pennington made the trip from to Gastonia from Locust. He said the Gaston County Antifa post was most likely a prank. He says, "But you see the true supporters, we don't care if it's a prank. We're going to show up because what's going to happen is they're going to call this, and then we ain't going to show up. And then they're going to really burn down an American flag, and it's going to cause someone to seriously have problems." Unquote. The Gaston Antifa post claimed the point of the rally was to start a petition to remove, quote, the Nazi statue at the Gaston County Courthouse and recruiting new members, unquote. However, there is no Nazi statue in front of the courthouse. There is, however, a Confederate statue in front of the courthouse, and some of the people who showed up at the store Saturday were members of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Some online responses to the Gaston County Antifa Facebook post threatened violence. Police at the scene said there had been no problems reported by about 10:30 in the morning, and the officer said that police presence was just a precaution. Gaston County Antifa page posted a photo of a group of people in the woods, claiming it was taken recently in Asheville, but the same photo had been used before, including by a Colorado Antifa page. The local Facebook page also claimed its members had been, quote, training and preparing from the gym to the gun range, and posted a video in which a masked figure called the NRA, quote, basically a terrorist organization, unquote, and claimed the Civil War was fought against the Britons. Earlier in the week, Cleveland County sheriffs, you have to wonder how much of Antifa is actually just trolling. Like, obviously, there's some of them that are real, right? Like, they go out and they do things and they start fights at protests or whatever. But this was clearly a fake event. It never happened. The page ostensibly isn't even real. There's no evidence that these people have ever shown up anywhere to do anything. And so it makes me wonder, are the people running, or whoever it is that's running this Gaston County Antifa page, are they actually Antifa? Or are they just trolls who are pretending to be Antifa? It's hard to tell the difference sometimes.
I mean, I wonder if, though, somebody couldn't have gotten some sort of control over that page, on the spur of the notice, on the spur of the moment, to sort of like maybe it's one of these pages that have sort of lulled. Mm-hmm. Somebody gets made an admin and who is from an organization like 4chan, for example, and an organization is probably a loose, a very loose, likely even wholly inappropriate thing to call 4chan. But somebody who's likes organizing, trolling things, on a regular basis and just got control of the page. Maybe is that possible?
It's certainly possible.
According
to Cleveland County Sheriff Major Joel Shores, he posted to Facebook that local law enforcement has no evidence any such group actually exists. The Gaston Antifa page had also made posts about the police agency. Quote, "We believe at this time there is no such group in Gaston County. Unfortunately, social media can be a platform for one person to cause concerns and try to entice violence and hate." Unquote. Pennington said or told the Gazette that he and others plan to stay at Gander Outdoors, quote, "until we know Antifa ain't coming."
Well, there are currently 2 Facebook pages for Gaston. There's Gaston County Antifa, which has 872 people who like it.
Yeah.
And then there's Antifa Gaston that has 12 people who like it.
I think in all likelihood, it's just one person who came up with it. And probably which one is newer, the one with 12 likes or one with 800?
The one with 12, but can you tell? I guess you could look at the post dates or whatever.
Because I think it's this 12, because this one has the rally, October 20th, 10 a.m., Antifa rally. "We will not allow any Confederate flags in Gander Outdoor parking lot. The resistance is real. God bless us," and #resist. I think this fake page was created...
Which one are you saying is the fake page?
The one with 12 people.
I think they're both fake. Is what they're saying.
Well, the other
here.
One's 872, and I think has been around for a while longer.
Oh, that doesn't mean it's not fake.
Competing trolls.
Right. It could be that the number 12 started when this happened, and somebody was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to create my own page."
When did this supposedly happen?
This was this weekend on Saturday.
Okay, well, I just saw a post here from the 15th, so I'm pretty sure this one was started.
It was started before.
With the specific purpose of doing this. But let me look at the other page and see if it also has any references to the rally.
So there's a photo here of one of the guys at this counter rally, right? So again, this is a story really about the counter rally. There's literally a guy with like an American flag wrapped around his face that's being interviewed here, wearing a Carhartt jacket, and appears to have the flag wrapped around both his face and some sort of flag cape on him. There's of course the inevitable thin blue line flag that seems to be being flown, as well as a flag with an elephant on it. I just thought it was kind of an interesting troll job that was worth sharing.
Ian, that's the GOP elephant.
That's right. That's exactly what that is.
So this other page, this page, well, it looks. I mean, it's really kind of questionable about whether or not they're trolls as well. They don't have any mention of the rally on this. The big page, yeah. No mention whatsoever of the rally.
Wow, it's amazing that a page with 12 likes managed to scrounge up dozens of people in a counter protest here. They took it that seriously, which may lead us to Vincent's story about 10 things Americans are afraid of. Come back with that. Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition. The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
Free Talk Live.
I cannot imagine anyone ever calling a cigarette interdiction hotline.
That'd be great.
What would that conversation be like?
Well, I'm calling because I can't stop smoking.
Sir, do you have a cigarette right now?
Well, yes.
Is it lit?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you have an ashtray?
Yes.
Okay, you know when you're done with your cigarette and you put it out?
Uh-huh.
Okay, try that right now.
But it's not.
Go ahead and do that same motion.
Can you imagine the conversations?
What the hell could they possibly
Is it 24 hours?
I just don't get
Just
it.
someone called up. I can't do it anymore.
It's dumb.
I smoked the whole pack of cigarettes.
I only get motivated at 3 a.m. Help me out. There's nobody there.
I've smoked all my money away, and now my wife's left me, and she took the dog and the kids. I got no money left. I've smoked it all.
I was breaking into my neighbors' houses and pawning their TVs for more cigarettes.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. What is ostensibly a fake Antifa page in Gaston County, North Carolina, has spurred what appear to be dozens of people to show up in front of a what looks like a sporting goods or outdoor store where Antifa had allegedly claimed they were going to be having some sort of a rally. And they never showed up, but the counter-protesters showed up in large number. And we're looking at this page here, and we've dug a little bit further. And Johnson, you said the page that has the 872 likes compared to the 12 likes actually does appear to be the page that had promoted this.
Well,
initially.
they both do, but
They both
yeah.
did.
It's interesting because one just has like a text promotion and the other one has a graphic. And
Gotcha.
the graphic looks like, somebody spent a little bit of time on it. And, yeah.
Gaston County Antifa, the photograph here of the group is some guy standing at a podium with a fairly large kind of like, what is it called, a muffin top, where the fat roll kind of rolls out over top of your pants. It's not a very flattering photograph, and it looks very, very silly. So I just don't think these people are real. I think they're trying to stir up the right wing, basically. And they've done it successfully. They may actually be trying to instigate violence, as a matter of fact, against people that the people on the right consider to be Antifa. I mean, there was one guy at this protest quoted by the news media saying that if somebody had burned a flag, which was what they believed was going to happen, they believed that Antifa was going to show up and light this outdoor store, which has a flag, would light their flag on fire. saying that ultimately that they would seriously have some problems. Again, so not coming right out and saying that he was going to commit violence against whoever it is that lets the flag on fire.
It's that ancient Zen question, right? What is the sound of one wing flapping?
Bitcoin.com, by the way, wants you to know that that's the great place to go to get information about Bitcoin. We're coming up here real fast on the 10th anniversary of Bitcoin, which has, I would say changed the financial paradigm here in the world, and it's not too late for you to get started learning about it. Go to Bitcoin.com, and you can start learning about Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, and take their Bitcoin.com Academy and learn about Bitcoin, but also get the latest news headlines from their news site over at news.bitcoin.com. So this, I think, could lead into the story you brought in here tonight, Vincent, which is apparently a study was done on Americans and their fears, the 10 greatest fears of Americans. And certainly, we're in a time where some people are saying that tensions are higher now than they've ever been. In fact, Johnson, just now during the break, you and Vincent were talking about this idea of a civil war. And we've heard from callers who are a little more on the kooky side that they believe that civil war is imminent. But Johnson, you're saying you actually believe that this is going to happen.
Well, I've been saying it for years now, that I believe that we're gradually marching towards some sort of a conflict in the United States.
Now, obviously, the previous civil war was governments that were fighting one another, and they'd line up in fields and shoot at each other. What do you expect this civil war that you're predicting to be? I mean, what will the sides be? Who's going to be fighting who?
I don't necessarily know. I don't know how it would work out. I don't think we're close enough yet for me to really answer that.
Mm-hmm. You just feel like there's some sort of tension that's going to break.
Yeah, and
violence.
things are getting, things have already been gradually getting more and more violent, but yeah.
Any input on that one, Vincent? You agree with the Civil War concept?
Well, I think it's inevitable that there's going to be violence because it's the issues brought, and I think it's mainly issues brought about by the state, but social issues and just political, socioeconomic, all that stuff. It's been they've kicked the can down the road for so long. I don't think there's going to be a peaceful outcome. And to what Johnson said about not knowing which the sides are going to be, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't say either. But the way things look like now, it's going to be between the sort of patriot, Trump supporting types, like the counter-protesters in the event, and Antifa, or however you pronounce that, and some more like left-wing, sort of like communists. Yeah, communists, just straight up communists.
Is it going to be?
By the way, 37% of Democrats and 32% of Republicans currently believe that a civil war may be likely in the United States.
Really? Yeah, I'd be curious to know, like, if there were a follow-up question to those folks. Like, well, again, who will the conflict be between? Right. And at what point will you know it's a civil war? I mean, is it going to be something where you'll look back on it and be like, oh yeah, that's when it started? Because there was the conflict that happened in Charlottesville over a year ago. That, of course, Christopher Cantwell was involved with infamously. That was some level of conflict. There was fighting that went on there. Just within the last couple weeks, there was some kind of fight that broke out in the streets of Portland between members of Antifa and a group called the Patriot Prayer. So there was, it lasted about a minute. There was a street fracas between, maybe a dozen or so people. How protracted do the fights need to be? How often do they need to happen before you can say this is a civil war?
And I think they're not always called civil wars either. I mean, versus like partisan, what you listed was some would say partisan fighting, and right before the Nazis took power in Germany, in the Weimar Republic, there was partisan fighting. There was a communist uprising in 1919. Oh yeah, but you don't hear that called the German Civil War. It was just different. There was a very weak government in place, and various groups, the communists and the National Socialists, were fighting over it, and it didn't reach like levels of like full on like battles, like lines of people shooting at each other. It was more of a low intensity kind of conflict until one group took power over the other through the vehicle of the state.
If you want to,
I was going to say, after Charlottesville, there was an article written in the New Yorker, "Is America headed for a new kind of civil war?" And then there's another.
This was
article,
before Charlottesville. You said?
This is directly after Charlottesville.
Okay.
And then another article that was also after Charlottesville by a few months further than the August 2017 article, has said the title is "Choosing Sides in the Next Civil War May Be Tricky." It's sort of the title just presumes that there will be one,
happen.
And
or that you have to choose a side.
Yeah.
Or will there be two sides, or will there be more than two sides in this conflict? And I don't know, what is really the definition of a civil war? Does it have to involve governments fighting one another, or is it, because it would be some sort of internal conflict, right? That's generally how it's been
suppose that's
used.
really, actually, you just sort of laid out how it will happen. You just sort of stumbled upon exactly. Yeah, so for step one, on the path towards another civil war will be another government has to form. And then we'll get our civil war. So that's probably how things will go down, is that there's going to be some sort of a right-wing government that separates from the United States government, or a left-wing government that separates from the United States government.
I wonder what that'll look like.
And that's when we'll start to get,
Will it be California
real
seceding from the United States?
I don't think there'd be a war for that. I think everyone would be happy they'd become. That'd probably bring peace. That'd bring peace. We could dump all the communists from the rest of the continent there.
I really hope it does happen. The toll-free, that is to say, California seceding. I don't hope for war. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can weigh in on this if do you think this is going to happen? Is there a civil war coming, or is it already here? This is Free Talk Live. And how will you know? Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, Government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have Discord. Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you. In fact, we're going to go to that coming up here shortly. We've got somebody waiting patiently there. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You can hop into one of those rooms. We'll join you there, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. It's Ian, Vincent, and Johnson in the studio tonight. I do want to let you know the Texas Bitcoin Conference is right around the corner. I'm going to have to be packing for that this week because it starts Saturday. And it's Saturday and Sunday, October 27th and 28th in Austin, Texas. It's a great event. I've had the pleasure of going to all of them so far. This is going to be the fourth one. And they've got, of course, networking opportunities, panels, keynotes from industry leaders, great speakers like Paul Puey from Edge Wallet, Bruce Fenton. Lynn Ulbricht is going to be there. And for your full schedule that has now been posted, and to get some last-minute tickets, you can go to TexasBitcoinConference.com. That's TexasBitcoinConference.com. And yes, Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event. So we will look forward to seeing you in Austin this weekend. TexasBitcoinConference.com. As we continue here, we were talking about this idea of the Civil War, the idea that there are going to be people having conflict. Johnson, you suggested that maybe another government will be formed, and that will result in an out-and-out war between this existing government, because that's sort of what the definition of a civil war is. Although that's not what people are saying, I don't think, when they say civil war. I think they just mean people will be fighting internally within this particular geographic boundary of the United States. I think that's what they mean, right?
I pulled it up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, or at least its online version, defines civil war as a war between opposing groups of citizens of the same country.
Oh, really? Okay, so then that
So
is.
it already happened in Charlottesville.
Well, okay, but then begs the question of how protracted must a conflict be? I mean, a fight in the streets isn't a war,
right?
You generally in a war there's battles, right? There's different battles, and then at some point there's some sort of a treaty, or you've completely vanquished the enemy, or whatever it is that the ending is. But there's usually a beginning, right? Somebody fired a shot against a fort in South Carolina,
in Fort Sumter,
right? In Fort Sumter. Right. So there's usually a beginning, but they don't know at the time. Usually it's the passing of time and the ability to have hindsight to look back and say, "Oh, that's when this started."
Right.
So maybe we'll be able to look back and say Charlottesville was the first conflict in this civil war, or maybe we haven't seen that yet. So again, and I'm not saying I'm buying this. I know this is a very popular concept. You guys are both on board with this Civil War thing happening.
Well, it's not like I'm on board with it like I want it to happen. It's just that I've been predicting it for a very long time.
Right.
And consistently, there has been a slow and slowly accelerating march towards it happening. I said that I thought it was going to happen 10 years ago or something like that now. And it's been just getting worse and worse, and it just seems to me to be coming more and more likely.
Well, if you predict something like a long time ago, 10 years ago, and it doesn't happen, isn't that called fear-mongering?
Well, I said in the distant future. I mean, it's like I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't think that a civil war is going to be happening for the next 10 years now.
Oh, no, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
So you don't think
there.
it's imminent? You don't think it's...
Oh, I don't think it's imminent, but I do think it... Well,
I mean, it just when you put it that way, it's sort of like it's like Peter Schiff predicted 8 out of the past 2 recessions, sort of that kind of thing.
When you say imminent,
like within the next year or
but
two.
I mean, imminent can also mean like an eventuality, right? So I do kind of think it's an eventuality. I just don't think that it's an immediate eventuality.
I see.
Imminent can also apply that it's going to happen. And do I think that it's imminent? Yes. I just don't think that it's immediately imminent.
So if you want to join the conversation, you're welcome to our toll-free number again, 855-450-FREE. Let's see, Vincent, you had a list of 10 things that Americans are afraid of, and this is some kind of a scientific study. Tell me more. Where's it coming from?
So it was a survey done by Chapman University, and apparently it's an annual survey. I got the article here from ZeroHedge.com, and it's titled, Survey Reveals What Really Scares Americans. Number 1 on the list may surprise you, so they had to get that little clickbait thing out of there.
Yep, sure.
And I'll just begin. Every year, Chapman University conducts a survey of American fears. The annual survey provides an in-depth examination into the concerns of average Americans, tracking changes and trends over years. The survey asked participants about topics including government, health, environmental concerns, disaster preparedness, the paranormal, and personal answers.
All right.
For the
They're afraid of ghosts.
So what's the number 1 thing Americans...
I hope ghost isn't on this list. Let's not start at number 1. We should start at number 10.
Certainly. Okay,
yeah.
So...
Unless 10 is the number 1 being the most afraid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So number 2 is pollution of oceans, rivers, and lakes at 62%.
Number 2, okay.
Number 3 is pollution of drinking water.
Going the wrong direction, but
at 61%.
Okay.
No, I'm going in a direction.
You're saving number 1 for last.
Absolutely.
Right, fair enough.
So not having enough money for the future, that's 57%.
This was what number was that?
That's
4?
number 4.
Okay.
And tying with number 4 is number 5, people I love becoming seriously ill. That's it again at 70.
Yeah,
57%.
That's a tough one.
So number 6, people I love dying is 56%,
Similar.
so just 1% difference there. Number 7, air pollution. Number 8, extinction of plant and animal species. And there's a picture of an elephant there, so it's good. I could relate to that. Let's see the next one because I lost count already. Global warming and climate change is at 53%. And the last one is high medical bills at 53% as well.
So basically, to sum those up, it seems like people are mostly afraid of medical issues affecting their family.
Quotidian things, water, money, illness.
Yeah, and then also the environment, essentially. Animals and pollution and cleanliness.
Yeah, those are far. It's like it's down the line. I forget what it's called, the triangle of needs. So it's
Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hierarchy of needs, right? You got the water first, right? You need water every day. Then you have the money stuff. You need money every week for food. Then it gets to illness and loved ones. So I find that interesting.
So what is the number 1 fear among Americans?
So for the 4th year in a row, the number 1 fear, the dishonor of being the number 1 fear goes to government corruption, corrupt government officials. Yes, 74%.
Wow. Okay.
Well, okay.
Well, I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised to hear that that's the number 1 fear.
But it's the number 1 fear amongst Democrats fearing Republican corruption, and the number 1 fear amongst Republicans fearing Democrat corruption, right?
Yeah, that's probably true.
What's the common denominator among both of those?
Government, yeah. So, I mean, that's probably true that people are more likely to trust their politicians as opposed to the other people's politicians. But regardless, that does still... I don't know, it kind of warms my heart a little bit that people are at least acknowledging that government is a bigger fear in their lives than death, than somebody, suffering and dying in a hospital. All of those things are basically inevitable, right? Like, whether it be government corruption or your family members dying, it's all going to happen.
I'm just sad. I was trying to find while you guys were talking the phobia name for fear of surveys, and I couldn't find one.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
one,
I'm sure there is one. Somebody who's afraid of taking quizzes or something.
Does it say? Speaking of the survey, does it say the methodology? Was it a phone survey? Did they just ask college students on a college campus? Sometimes, I don't know if Zero Hedge will reveal that information, but it is always useful to know, like, well, how did they actually conduct this?
Yeah, so they have a methodology here on their website, chapman.edu. It's loading up, but in the meantime, what I found interesting, they list other fears, right, that didn't make the top 10 list. And close, so at 49.3, tied. So we're tied together, 49.3%. People are equally afraid of Islamic extremists as they are white supremacists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Surprisingly, I guess I didn't really think this through. The word test is I believe, Greek root. So it would just be testophobia.
Testophobia.
Yeah.
All right.
So to fear of taking tests.
Toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Sex robot shows up on Tinder. And what happened as a result? I think it's kind of funny in light of the recent NPC discussions that we've had where there's a particularly funny NPC meme that's Tinder-based. There's more coming up.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free and join us here. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. I also want to make sure that you know you can visit our website over at freetalklive.com, and you can sign up for our podcast. We actually had somebody in our chat room, I think at the Discord chat the other night, who thought they were asking us, well, why don't we have a podcast, or why don't because they just thought, I guess, we were like a live show on Twitch or something. Like, yeah, we've got a podcast. You can download the show. You can subscribe to the podcast. You can download individual archives if you want to. Just go to freetalklive.com. You'll find the archives at the top.
Probably watch the episodes right on Twitch too, if you're a Twitch person, right?
You can, but you only get like 2 weeks worth on Twitch. Twitch is more of a live platform than it is an archival system like YouTube, which YouTube will just archive things until they ban your account. Yeah, so on Twitch you can get HD quality, like nice looking, great sounding video, but only for about 2 weeks.
But if you're watching us on Twitch, go ahead, give us a cheer with your bits.
That would be great if you've got them. Although bits are really not a great deal. I don't know if you've ever looked at what it costs to buy bits, but there's like a 30% markup that goes straight to Twitch, basically.
Well, you're supporting the platform that supports these independent entertainers.
I don't know if they support us. They probably don't even know we're there. So I don't know if we can say that Twitch officially supports Free Talk Live. But there are ways to donate beyond that. There's actually a donation button. If you're on Twitch, if you go to twitch.lrn.fm and scroll down below the video, there's companies. There's one that's called Streamlabs. There's another one called Stream Elements. We use Stream Elements, and they actually have a PayPal method of donating where you're not going to lose near as much to fees if you're using that.
Or you can just go directly through amp.freetalklive.com.
That's another way to do it as well, and that's helpful also. So yeah, amp.freetalklive.com. Head on over there, join the AMP program. In fact, since you brought it up, thanks to Shooter, he's a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier, which means he's doing $5 a month to the show via the AMP program, getting AMP perks, benefits that are special, like special access to the AMP and donation-based chat rooms that we have on our Twitch, or not Twitch, we have on our Discord server. So many servers. Yeah, so you get some perks like access to the AMP only podcasts. But anyway, that was what I was talking about originally, was the podcasts. If you want to subscribe to those, you can go to feeds.freetalklive.com. And I say those because there's the main podcast for Free Talk Live, which has the full shows and the digests in it. And then there's the digest-only version, and then there's the full show-only version. So if you prefer one or the other, you can subscribe to any one of those over at feeds.freetalklive.com. So check those out when you get a chance. And we go to the phones. In this case, we're actually going to the Discord on-air call-in line room, where Big Jim Fridge is on the line. Hey, Big Jim Fridge.
Hey, Ian. Hey, Vincent. Hey, Johnson.
Hey,
Thanks
hello.
for taking my call.
Sure. What's on your mind?
Johnson, that's some scary stuff about the Civil War you're talking about. I want to talk about the actual current government now, not any new future one. So here in New Mexico, you guys may know that Gary Johnson is running for Senate. He's challenging Martin Heinrich, who's the incumbent Democrat. Gary Johnson, former Republican governor, ran as a libertarian.
Right.
So I'm a New Mexico voter. I got a text from Gary Johnson's campaign the other day, and it says, can we count on your vote for Gary Johnson? And I wanted to, you hear a lot about him being like pro-legalization, wanting to get kind of scale back government-funded public transportation in the state. But I wanted to ask him about an issue that's important to me. So I wrote to him, and he replied. The guy from his campaign replied, not Gary Johnson himself. But I said, I asked him, will Gary Johnson respect Topless Tuesday? And he wrote back, and he said, Gary Johnson respects property rights. So if there's a private business or home that wants to hold a Topless Tuesday, and everyone who participates is doing so voluntarily, yeah, I suppose he'd be down with that. So that's some great news for you, Ian.
That is good news, although Vincent, I'm not going to New Mexico.
Oh, well,
We're not going to take Topless Tuesday on the road unless somebody pays a lot of money.
But dude, you have so many listeners from New Mexico, like great listeners like Sarah and David
and Big Jim Fridge.
And now Big Jim Fridge.
Yeah.
Actually, David got banned from the Discord the other night. I thought it was somebody who was masquerading as him, but he'd never actually typed in the Discord chat before. Wow. David in New Mexico, who's like a regular caller for those who are maybe new to the show. He calls very regularly, and he'd been calling on Discord, but he'd never gotten into the Discord chat until like a couple days ago.
Right.
And he just started at first, he posted like a message that was in all caps, and that's like, this is a bad sign.
Okay.
And then after that, he then started posting the N-word over and over again in multiple posts, and it was like, yeah, that's not allowed here. So I didn't even bother warning him. I just banned him.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, that's good. You don't want to know him.
Yeah, no. All right, have a good
Thanks
Topless
for the
Tuesday,
call,
y'all. I'll
Big
talk to you
Jim
later.
Fridge. I appreciate it. Good call. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And then there's also the Discord call-in lines, which is where he was, and you can join those over at discord.lrn.fm. So let's see here. We were talking about the Civil War and then fears that Americans have. And I imagine a lot of those fears would be echoed by people around the world. Now, Vincent, you did look into it. It was an internet-based poll of some sort.
That's what it appears, yes.
So, of course, generally those are not done in a scientific manner, but regardless, this is the kind of poll that's probably not going to be stacked by anybody. It's not like, it matters which way the answers go. So I'm going to say, I believe a lot of these answers.
Yeah, I have a methodology overview here, and it's Chapman University Survey on American Fears. Was conducted online via the SSRS probability panel and invited adults age 18 and older to participate via the web. It included 1,190 participants, and data collection was conducted from June 25th to July 10th, 2018.
Okay. And just to recap, basically, for those just tuning in, there were top 10 fears, most of which broke down to fears over death, which results, in medical bills, difficulty of dying, also water purity, air purity, pollutions in general, and then this fear of global climate change, which, of course, is questionable. Somebody criticized me the other day for my answers to the Keene Sentinel about climate change, saying I sounded like a Republican. Because I did an hour-long plus interview with the Keene Sentinel, which is the local newspaper here. I'm running for state senate here in New Hampshire, and that question came up. And my perspective on it's like, well, I don't really, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to, say I have any kind of educated opinion on this, but I just don't buy the idea that the climate changing is this terribly bad thing or something that man has created.
So are you saying if you were elected to the New Hampshire Senate, you wouldn't support a 10% fossil fuel tax on every unit of fuel?
I would definitely not support any tax on anything.
So why do you hate the planet, Ian?
I don't hate anybody, and I don't hate anything. But I sure don't like the government. That's for damn sure. There's actually an interesting piece in the Sentinel on the front page this week about New Hampshire Libertarian candidates. If we get a chance, we can talk about that too.
I found a great article on this whole Civil War thing by somebody. So this here is from March 10th, 2017. Will we have a civil war? An SF officer turned diplomat estimates chances at 60%. For most of my career, I have been traveling the world, observing other countries in various states of dysfunction, and answering this same question. This is by Keith Mines, apparently a guest respondent here for this particular foreignpolicy.com. What a great but disturbing question. The fact that you can even ask it. Weird question for me. For most of my career, I have been traveling the world, observing other countries in various states of dysfunction, and answering this same question. In the case, if the standard is large-scale violence that requires the National Guard to deal with it in the timeline you lay out, I would say about 60%. This person estimates. I base that on the following factors.
60% chance that this will happen?
And that it will happen and will involve violence. Mm-hmm. Widespread, large-scale violence. I base that on the following factors. Entrenched national polarization of our citizenry with no obvious meeting place. Not true locally, however, which could be our salvation. But the national issues are pretty fierce and will only get worse.
That's likely true.
Yeah. press and information flow is more and more deliberately divisive, and it's increasingly easy to put out bad info and incitement.
In Venezuela, there was a protracted period a year ago, maybe about a year and a half at this point, but it was like the springtime a year ago when there were large numbers of people, masses of people in the streets. The Venezuelan government, of course, had its goons out to fight those people, basically. Was that a civil war?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
either.
this is he's interesting because this is in the perspective of a year ago, so right around, again, Charlottesville. He says, violence is in as a method to solve disputes and get one's way. The president modeled violence as a way to advance politically and validated bullying during and after the campaign. Judging from recent events, the left is now fully on board with this, although it has been going on for several years with them as well. Consider the university events where professors and speakers are shouted down and harassed, the physically aggressive anti-Israeli events, the anarchists during globalization events. It's just like 1859. Everyone is mad about something and everyone has a gun.
There's more coming up here in moments. You can join us. Open phones, as always, 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,223 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,463. Antiwar.com reports, citing internal Saudi intelligence documents, an unnamed Saudi official is offering an alternative version of the death of reporter Jamal Khashoggi at the Istanbul consulate just a day after the official version of the story came out and was rejected as nonsensical. Instead of the official claim that Khashoggi picked a fight with 15 different people and then suddenly died, this official said the 15 told Khashoggi they were there to kidnap and drug him and send him to Saudi Arabia. He resisted, at which point they choked him to death, which officials say wasn't meant to be part of the plan. And while choking Khashoggi to death wasn't the plan, the kill team seems to have been well prepared for that eventually, fetching a rug and giving him to a local cooperator to be disposed of. It's not clear what happened after that. While this version of events raises at least as many questions as the previous one, it again attempts to build around the one thing that is vital to the U.S., that the Crown Prince did not know about it. While this is something they desperately want to say is true, it's also one of the least credible things about any narrative. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports the Trump administration is attempting to strip transgender people of official recognition by creating a narrow definition of gender as being only male and female and unchangeable once it is determined at birth, according to a New York Times report on Sunday. Citing a government memo they obtained, the Times said the Department of Health and Human Services has undertaken an effort across several government departments to establish a legal definition of sex under Title IX, the federal civil rights law that bans discrimination on the basis of sex. That definition would be either male or female, unchangeable, and determined by the genitals a person is born with. Such an interpretation would reverse the expansion of transgender rights that took place under the previous administration of Barack Obama. It would also set back aspirations for tolerance and equality among the estimated 0.7% of the population that identifies as transgender. Most transgender people live with a profound sense that the gender assigned to them at birth was wrong and then transition to the opposite sex, while others live a non-binary or gender-fluid life. A spokeswoman for the Department of Health and Human Services declined to comment on what she called the alleged leaked documents, but cited a ruling by a conservative U.S. district judge as a guide to transgender policy. Ruling on a challenge to one aspect of the Affordable Care Act, U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor in Texas found in 2016 that there was no protection against discrimination on the basis of gender identity. A leading transgender advocate called the government's reported action a super aggressive, dismissive, dangerous move. Mara Keisling, director of the National Center for Transgender Rights, said in an interview, "They are saying we don't exist." The Obama administration enacted regulations and followed court rulings that protected transgender people from discrimination, upsetting religious conservatives. The Trump administration has sought to ban transgender people from military service and rescinded guidance to public schools recommending that transgender students be allowed to use the restroom of their choice. According to the Times, a draft of the Trump administration memo says that gender should be determined on a biological basis that is clear, grounded in science, objective, and administrable. Medical science seeks to explain what makes people transgender is in its infancy. Psychiatrists no longer consider being transgender a disorder, and several U.S. courts have found the Obama interpretation of protecting transgender people against discrimination as sound. But the Trump administration has chosen to abide by the ruling of O'Connor. Roger Severino, director of the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Health and Human Services, said in a statement, "The court order remains in full force and effect today, and HHS is abiding by it as we continue to review the issue." Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The American Psychiatric Association has issued an alarming study warning that the nation's used car salesmen are going completely insane, and in some extreme cases, practically giving cars away. The APA traces the outbreak of widespread hysteria to an apparent overstock of high-quality late-model cars begging to be driven off the lot today. Some severe symptoms include delusions, manic exuberance, and a psychotic commitment to offer the lowest prices guaranteed. Victims' families are joining together to raise awareness of this serious psychological epidemic.
The authorities found out how unbelievably low his prices were. They'd lock him up and throw away the key.
You are not alone. Over half of America's used car salesmen are currently going bonkers.
Car dealers suffering from this condition are prone to project their own disorders onto others. According to Mad Max, the Car Czar's website, you're out of your mind if you're not taking advantage of these low prices.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You can dial in toll free here. Take control of the airwaves. Our number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We're going to continue here and take your calls and thoughts. But with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And it's Johnson.
Also on the way, a sex robot has joined Tinder. We'll tell you what the results of that were. Plus, I think, Johnson, you had a story about knowing you're wealthy. When did you first realize you're wealthy by somebody who presumably has realized they are wealthy? We'll get into that here in a moment. But first, to the phones and to you with your calls and thoughts. Chris is on the line in Canada. Chris, you're on Free Talk Live, and you're listening to us through our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Go ahead.
Hey, Ian. Hey, Seth Rogen. Hey, guy who looks like he would be cool in the late 70s.
Sorry, are you supposed to be Seth Rogen, Johnson?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
He even laughed like him.
That's what I was going for.
Oh, you did it? You tried
Yeah,
to?
I was trying to do a Seth Rogen laugh.
It wasn't quite good enough
No.
that I discerned it right away, but I thought maybe. Anyways, so I had some ideas. I figured out you guys can't do Topless Tuesdays because it's too cold, right?
Yeah, it's
And
a
I've
little chilly in
accepted
here.
that now. I understand that, but I had some other ideas for some alliteration-based days you could do, possibly. I was thinking
Great.
Taurine Tuesday, where you guys drink
Energy drinks?
Yeah, exactly, and you get all amped up or whatever.
I can't
Another one
stand
is
those
tongue-
things.
THC Tuesday?
Okay.
I'd be all right with that.
Or would that be Thursday? Because then you could alliterate the T and the H.
Ooh, good point.
Hey, Johnson, I'm trying to do something here.
We're trying to add in.
Sorry,
so
I was
it's not
stepping
just
on your bit.
Yeah, we're trying to add in so it's not just a straight-up list. Go ahead.
Okay, tongues out Tuesday, and that's whenever you're not talking, then you have your
You have to
tongue
stick your tongue
sticking
out. Like Gary Johnson.
You're trying to do that's a good callback. I have a legitimate question for you just before I let you guys go here.
That's it? You only had two? I mean, it's not bad. Those weren't bad. I'm just saying. What about W's and F's?
Weed Wednesday.
I didn't. Well, you guys are you guys marijuana heads? Cuba heads?
Well, I don't think I can speak for all three of us.
No, that's fair enough. But my question for you is, why don't you set your camera up? Why doesn't it face you, Ian? Like the one shot. The one shot is
the close-up, you mean?
Yeah, the close-up. Yeah, it's always on the person who's not.
If I were sitting where Johnson is sitting, then it would be on me because Johnson is.
I know that.
Yeah. Well, look, it just it's because of the background, right? So if you've got a very nice.
Talk the whole time. But you're always talking, and the camera's always on him, and he's just sitting there, and it's the weirdest thing you'll ever see in your life. Do you ever watch the playback of it? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, hey, man, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think that it's fine. You can get people's reactions to things when they're not talking. And our other hosts do talk as well.
It just ran. No, they don't really, because I'm telling you, I watch all the time. And if you just had it on you, it would help out with my stuff a lot more. Anyway,
well, I'm not here to help you. Thanks for the call, Chris. I'm not actually interested in being, believe it or not, I'm not interested in being, in front of the camera. But I'm willing to be if that's what I, have to be in order to do things. I appreciate more kind of like being behind the scenes on production.
You got to be on camera when you're playing the Overwatch.
I am on camera, but it's still the far shot if I'm playing Overwatch, or whatever it is.
You got to set up a green screen behind you, man. That's how all the professionals do it.
And you have to get one of those like expensive chairs, those gaming.
Video game chairs.
If you get high enough though on Twitch, I think they'll like send you one, or somebody will sponsor you having one.
I have been high on
No,
Twitch.
no. I mean like high up, as in like you have a lot of subscribers.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And then somebody will sponsor you getting like one of these chairs. Like the chair company
They'll
will
call
reach
me.
out and be like, "We're going to give you a chair.
Yeah, you need
Just
one.
Talk about our chairs.
Whatever the hell the brands. I have no idea what the brands even are. Green
Max
screen.
Gamer. I don't know. I'm making something up, but
we could do some kind of green screen thing. But why would we want to do that when we've got a nice step and repeat?
Sure.
Which it's not that nice anymore. It's kind of junky, but you can't really tell. Hopefully on camera. But yes, so the step and repeat's the point there. It's branding.
The idea behind the green screen, though, is that you're blocking out as little of the game as possible while still being like floating on the screen.
Right.
So it's just your like head.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. So, video gaming isn't exactly the focus of the LRN Twitch channel. Although I have been on there the last few nights. I've been kind of Overwatch. I've been playing Overwatch a little bit like a crack addict.
Wasn't there like a libertarian game that was advertised on FTL like a long time ago?
God, I don't
some
know.
kind of mining game, some sort of like capitalist mining game.
Yeah. Mark played it.
Yeah.
He like endorsed it or whatever. I never played it.
I think you got to schedule some time, man.
No, I'm not gonna. If I'm not interested in playing the game, I'm not gonna play.
Well, how do you know if you've never played it?
Mining sounds dull. I'm just not. I'm not. I don't play those. I've never played Minecraft. It
Right.
doesn't really. I don't understand the attraction of it. I guess you want
I don't know.
to build
I watched
things.
I watched a video earlier today with people playing Rust. And apparently,
What's that? Survival?
Rust is like a survival kind of Minecraft, but it's like everyone starts out naked, and it's a little bit more towards being kind of adult because of that. Like everyone's naked, but there's like censored blurring over there, and they're gathering resources and building survival, and then there's some sort of like a combat aspect to it. And these guys, like, you have to build a base.
Games, man.
Well, you build a base to protect your resources,
Yeah.
but it's very common for people to like be raiding and stealing stuff off of each other as they get killed.
There was a guy in our chat room the other night, I think it was Razor Boy, while I was playing Overwatch, who was talking about one of these survival, he was describing it as an extreme survival game. Like
Sounds kind of like Rust or DayZ.
I don't know. I could go back and find it if I wanted, I'm sure. But where he was like, if you got injured, you have to like bandage the injury, or the injury, and if it gets infected, you have to put maggots on it, and like it was
Sounds
super.
like maybe DayZ or even
It
I
was
don't know.
super, detailed, and for me, these games where you've got to like feed yourself,
it's too much like real life.
I don't like thinking about feeding myself in real life. And I certainly don't want to spend my time in a video game doing that stuff. And it's like I find these resource gathering games to be just really dull.
The clip
I've never
that
played
I watched.
them.
The clip that I watched was this guy, I guess, had gotten a video from his brother, had sent it to him because apparently his brother had come across and found this kid, like a young, like maybe. Or very early teens, voice hadn't changed yet, playing this game Rust, and got into his base and basically found resources that would have taken this kid hours and hours, days, maybe even weeks to build up these resources, and just
snatched them,
took it all from this kid. And the kid goes through all these different things, like trying to negotiate and trick this guy and figure out how to like prevent his resources from being lost. And he's really arrogant at first. He doesn't think he's going to get owned. And because the guy gets trapped in his base, like locked in.
Okay.
And I guess it's easier to get out of a base, to break your way out or whatever. And the guy manages to get it. But this video takes like, a good 20 minutes or 30 minutes of them negotiating and trying to figure it out or whatever. The guy just tricking this kid, and this kid just becomes less and less arrogant as time goes on until he finally breaks down crying.
Oh,
yeah, it's very sad, but it's also very amusing, and it's horrible. And it was an interesting. That was to me my introduction to Rust, and I'm like, well, maybe I've got to give this game a try.
Is it so? Do you like the game?
I don't know. I've never played it.
You're saying maybe you have to try it.
Yeah,
as in you
I
haven't
saw a
yet
video
even-
of these resources or whatever, and then
So this was recent. You just saw.
Yeah,
this.
just recent.
Okay.
I mean, the game's been around forever, but I saw this video of them.
Now,
of
have
the
you played
resources
similar
and whatnot.
games with these resource gathering
I played
games?
DayZ. I played DayZ, and I played Minecraft a lot, but yeah.
What is it about Minecraft? Is it that you can build things? I mean, what is it that's attractive?
Well, there's one of the things that's attracted to it. Yeah, there's creativity in building things. There's a little bit of a learning electronics component of the game with this stuff that's called redstone. There you have to build circuits and different things that you can build devices and gadgets. But I think there's, especially if you're playing in survival mode, not necessarily creative mode. I mean, I can see how some people would like to do the creative stuff because then it's more like just building things with Legos.
Which is why a lot of kids play the game, right?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
and they play in creative. But the
'Cause I
survival mode...
Remember the game that wasn't even really a game, the Second Life?
Yeah.
Where people could build things in that, right?
Yeah.
Like they would build houses to hang out in, or there was like the Free Talk Live bar that somebody built at one
Never
time.
was a huge fan of Second Life. But with Minecraft, there's a challenge. There's a fairly good challenge there in the survival mode to like get the resources and build things up. So I could see how that would be kind of appealing, I guess.
Is there like can you attack other players in the game too, or is that not a thing?
Well, it depends. In Minecraft, you can.
We got more coming up here. You can bring up what you want here. It doesn't matter. It's Free Talk Live. Open phones.
This November, I'm running the New York City Marathon as a member of Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. 2018 has been a banner year for the Innocence Project. Since January, 9 of their clients have walked free. innocent people who combined to serve more than 200 years in prison for crimes they did not commit. And because of the Innocence Project, the risk of being wrongfully convicted has been greatly reduced for millions of people. October 2nd is International Wrongful Conviction Day. It's an opportunity to draw attention to the countless innocent men and women who remain behind bars and the need to reform our broken criminal justice system to prevent wrongful convictions. At any given time, the Innocence Project represents 200 clients who need their help to prove their innocence. This year, the Innocence Project helped pass a first-in-the-nation prosecutorial oversight law in New York and eyewitness identification reforms in New Hampshire and Louisiana. You can help the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free here and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Yeah, we've talked about everything from a fake Antifa rally to Americans' top 10 fears. And then we were just talking about these survival games where, Johnson, you were saying you're going to be trying one of them soon.
Maybe, at some point in the future. I've got a couple other games that I'm really much more interested in.
What are you interested in?
Well, on the 26th of October, Red Dead Redemption 2 is releasing. So
I got to say, that would make me consider getting a PS4.
I wonder, is it going to come out for the...
It'll probably come out for the PC later.
at some point.
Probably
yeah,
later.
yeah, probably not right at launch. But I have...
That's
I've got
for
an
listeners
Xbox
that
for
don't
one.
know, that's basically like a Western style open world
By the same people
game.
who make the Grand Theft Auto games.
Right.
So Rockstar makes Red Dead Redemption.
The first one was fantastic.
Yes, it was. It was very good.
If you like Western movies, you will love the first Red Dead Redemption because it basically takes classic scenes from Westerns and makes it so you can play those scenes. I mean, that's basically what the game is.
I also have a
also got a good
very,
plot.
very long-term crack-like addiction to all of the Assassin's Creed games. So,
Really?
Yeah,
They haven't
Odyssey.
burned on you yet, huh?
No.
Oh, wow.
Just constantly, I've liked the Assassin's Creed games. And
Okay.
they change them just enough between each game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Different combat systems, different just open world. I mean, the maps since Origins. I mean, Origins is just a massive game.
Is this one of their newest ones?
Yeah,
The newest one?
Origin is not the newest one. The newest one is Odyssey.
Okay.
So Origins is based in Egypt, and Odyssey is in Greek times. So
I'm way behind. The last one I played was Black Flag.
Black
the pirate
Flag
one.
Did you burn out on Black Flag?
I burned out on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and I loved it too. I
Yeah.
loved it in the beginning, and I got tired of it. after a
Yeah.
while.
Then the other games, these games will probably make you burn out in the same way because they're the same. It's just they're so big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like
Big's
it.
not necessarily bad. Like games like Fallout, the Fallout series, and then the Skyrim and the the Elder Scrolls series. Those are huge games as well, and I don't burn out on those. I don't mind those at all.
Interesting. Yeah. See, I haven't played the Fallouts. I don't know. I can't compare it. I don't like the problem is that what I like about Assassin's Creed is I like the sort of real time aspect of the combat. It's more twitchy. You have to know, you have to have button combinations and block and parry in kind of a real time.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Fallout games, what I found with the combat systems is more like a kind of like a Final Fantasy kind of combat system where you're like selecting the button and pressing. I mean, it's not like a first person shooter.
Really. I mean, it's kind of for listeners that aren't familiar. Fallout. Well, I mean, talking about Fallout 3 and since then, where
You're
it's
like,
been
I'm going to
first
shoot
person.
him in his arm with this weapon.
Yeah,
for this
so it
amount of-
does
you know,
have
it's
that
like,
ability. It does have that ability, but you can also just play it as a straight up first person shooter.
You can.
Don't have
Okay.
to, you don't.
That
have
must
to
be
use
like
that
new
system.
since New Vegas or something like that because I haven't. The only one I played, I'm still on 3.
Well, that's the way you probably should play to make sure you are more effective at the game, but you can still just blast.
Yeah, I
people
just
if you
spray
wanna do it
bullets
that way.
everywhere with that game. It's
You're going to have more accuracy if you use that system. It's called VATS in the game. All right, so if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450 free. So, Vincent, I mean, are there any games, since we're talking gaming here, are there any games that you're excited about or you're into?
Well, I know so many people. Like I have people who work for me, and they're all taking time off to play Red Dead Redemption 2. They say they're taking the entire weekend off,
Really?
doing all the work ahead. Oh yeah, people are obsessed.
You mean
with
at
it.
college? People
Yeah.
You're a newspaper editor at college.
Yeah, so writers are like, I say, okay, could you do this weekend? Or like, no, RDR2 is coming out, and I'm like, you're an adult, you have to, you can't.
Wait, I thought you said they were doing the work in advance just to get it done.
No, for coursework, but like for
not the other stuff.
No, not the other stuff. And I'm like,
that off.
I'm like, look, I know it still says teen, right? 18, but you're an adult now. You're in
Start
college.
acting like it.
Start acting like it. But yeah, I've been playing Far Cry 5 recently.
Oh, okay.
We're talking
That's
about
a first-person shooter, and it's
open world.
What is it? Montana, where you're up against some sort of redneck cult.
No, it's actually the rednecks fighting against a cult. It's like
okay.
So that's a good one. You're talking about DayZ and Rust. I've been playing. I used to play one called Project Zomboid, and it was sort of like a top-down isometric, sort of like Minecraft with zombies. And I got banned quite frequently from servers because I figured out how to cheat and grief. And to me that was most of the fun. Like I got sick of building little castles, and I'm like, all right,
You just wanted to attack other players.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to.
Especially streamers. I liked attacking the streamers because I see like the reactions live. Like I'm playing it and I kill
you're
them.
watching them at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
it's like a
kind of
10-second delay. Oh yeah, it was great.
All right, toll-free number if you want to join us here, 855-450 free. Let's talk to Kevin. He's in Virginia. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, I wanted to talk about how college students are essentially walking socialists now. I'm actually a fourth year at a university here in Virginia.
Yep.
Today I was actually in a Western economics class where we essentially talk about just the economy of the EU. However, today we were talking about political parties and how essentially the term liberal has been stolen from the classical liberal sense. And so I mentioned that, and boy, my whole class just said, "Hey, you're talking nonsense. You're following a dogma. You're being biased."
Now, hold on. Before you go on, you said when you mentioned that, you mean you mentioned that the term liberal was originally classical liberal, which basically meant like a libertarian?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, the whole thing was about individualism, not wanting the state in your life, and
Not the collective or so-called collective rights.
Yeah. Essentially, the whole thing about classical liberals are big on natural rights. Modern liberals are confused in this group rights thing. I made that point, and these kids just they trashed me on that. Again, I made the point that hey, capitalism doesn't it's not a system where people are soft. Modern capitalism, yeah, but it's because of these central planners that control the central bank. And I pointed out to Greenspan and Bernanke what they did here, and these kids just don't want to hear it. They think it's capitalism. It's naturally flawed. No one is better off. It just amazes me, and I think this is really dangerous because these kids could possibly be the future leaders of tomorrow. And these kids are Marxist socialists. It's actually really scary how...
Vincent, can you relate to this? You are also a third-year college student, and I know you've told me off the air that you've had some encounters in class where you've kind of spoken up for freedom. And what's that been like for you? Can you relate?
For a lot of people, it goes from one ear and out the other.
So Kevin,
yeah.
And so, Kevin, not only are they, ignoring what you're saying, they're becoming hostile towards you.
Exactly. They essentially yell at me. Today, for example, some kid was yelling at me, and all I said was, "Look, read a book, and you'll find the answer."
Read?
No, they don't like that. They don't like that at all.
I don't know if you have more you wanted to tell us, Kevin. If you do, you can stick with us. In fact, I actually have a propaganda piece here. Wondering why young people are the way they are, from Teen Vogue. What is capitalism and how it affects people? Straight up propaganda. More coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly,
You know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and take control of the airwaves here. Our number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms where you can jump in over at discord.lrn.fm. They're the first rooms there on our list of various different chat rooms in which you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners. By the way, your property and your family are precious. You can protect them with the Blink home security system. In fact, it really doesn't get easier or more affordable because you actually get easy and affordable and quality all in the same package, which is very rare to find all those things together. They're wireless, which means you unpack the cameras, you put the batteries in, just AA's, no problem to get more of them if you need them down the line. But they supposedly will last for up to 2 years. Mine have gone strong for over a year at this point. You put the batteries in and then just put the cams up wherever you want them, set them up via your Wi-Fi enabled device, and then the cams will send you video clips whenever something happens in front of them during the time frames that you say they should be operating. And if you want to tune into them live, you can do that too. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. That's because Blink is an Amazon company now. They were purchased by them a couple of years ago because Amazon thought the product was that great. BlinkProtect.com/FTL saves you 15% off an already very affordable system. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. We go back to Kevin in Virginia. Frustrating times in college. You up against college students finding they don't even want to listen to what you're saying in class. And, of course, you're taking a pro-freedom position, and these guys are just not even interested in hearing it.
Yeah, if I could just add, this is an example of cultural Marxism, right? And we have to understand cultural Marxism, we have to remember that classical Marxism was the whole, class conflict, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Cultural Marxism is essentially the new oppressors are white heterosexual males, and the oppressed is essentially everyone else. And I see this in my school when we have libertarian or conservative speakers come up to campus, these little muddle-headed babblers just go on a rampage, and they scream and they just essentially ruin what me and my libertarian club essentially do, and this is exactly what college is now.
They want to
really
shout you
scary.
down rather than actually have a discussion.
Well, wait, because I want to stop down for a second because you said the thing about white heterosexual males, and I heard somebody earlier today mention something where they were saying about this, the horde of people coming towards the United States currently, and talking about how we needed to keep them out in order to defend the genetic commons. And I'm just wondering how that idea strikes you.
Yeah, well, when I was talking about cultural Marxism, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Dr. Tom DiLorenzo. He's written good books on Lincoln. I think it's called Lincoln Unmasked, the Rio Hamilton. And he just, kind of emphasizes that this is what college is now. I mean, this is what they teach you from, kindergarten till college. And, when I was in kindergarten, I remember they told me, don't bring a snack unless you bring one for everyone else. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you, hey, you can't have property unless you share with everyone. And this parasite ideology is in academia. I mean,
right.
This is why they embrace Keynesianism, socialism. It's in the name of minorities. And actually, if I were a minority, I would be angry, because if I am a smart minority and I have other, not so smart minorities in my college because of affirmative action, which is cultural Marxism, it makes me look bad. And now people think, hey, I'm in this college because I'm, black or something like that. No, I'm in here because I'm a smart kid. But this is what cultural Marxism is. It's ruined society, and especially it has ruined college.
Great call, Kevin. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us, and again, taking it all the way back to kindergarten with these lessons in communism essentially being forced upon young people. The best bet for parents out there, and again, thanks for the call, best bet for parents is keep your kids out of these schools. Keep them out of the government schools, because they're, when you get your kid home from school, they're not going to tell you about all this stuff that happened during the day. They won't realize the importance of these indoctrinations that are going on. You will have no idea to which extent they're actually getting away with this stuff.
So the reason why I brought the comment that I had, because I hear a lot this term of cultural Marxism, which I think is wholly appropriate when referring to the left, talking about this cultural Marxism. But I thought it was interesting to hear this thing from, someone who purports to be on the right, talking about, defending the genetic commons. And I asked that person, I said, well, does that mean that you're a genetic communist?
Ooh,
because,
zing.
Essentially, that's exactly what it is, right? It's like, it's talking about this, sort of a tragedy of the commons, of the common genetic ancestry of people. It's like, it's ridiculous, and it's like there's this kind of insipid communism that's on the right as well, in regards to racism, which is just another form of collectivism.
Yeah, that's I think it's an excellent observation. In fact, I've even accused Christopher Cantwell in person in some recent discussions that we had of sounding like a communist.
Yeah.
With some of the things that some of the viewpoints.
Actually, I'm more of a fascist, really. Yeah.
Yeah, but my point was,
I'm a free market Nazi.
Well, my point was that even though he's on the right, the things he was asking for were the same exact things the communists on the left have been asking for. In this case, it was about government controlling social media.
Right.
He wants the government to take over.
First, we need the social media, and then we need the schools. Right?
Let's go to actually, Free Market Penguin is on the line on Discord. Hello, Free Market Penguin.
Yep, also calling from Virginia. I just wanted to call about something. Kind of wanted to change the direction of that quite a bit. And I was actually thinking about all this talk of the Democrat mob, the leftist mobs in the street, and everything that people get so worked up about. Well, I mean, I certainly disagree with vandalism and any bad tactics that have been pointed out to have occurred in some cases. But let's look at these protests that happen in this country.
Okay.
What and have been happening over time and all over the world. What are these scary leftists, scary anarchists protesting? Let's see: police violence, global bankers, which of course are the bankers. Pretty much are the very foundation of the state.
Which many on the right have protested the Federal Reserve System, for instance. So they're kind of in the same ballpark there.
But do they get out in the street? I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
well, they had the End the Fed protests. They weren't in the streets, but they did go out to Federal Reserve buildings and hold signs and stuff. So they did do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
it's just some common ground between the two groups. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, that's what I want to get at. Actually, that's actually what I want to get at. But police violence, that
and that's worth protesting. They're absolutely in the right on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And fascism, which I mean, they kind of jumped the gun, and I don't really agree with these people fighting in the street. But let's say there were really open fascist people really openly advocating for fascism. Depending on the definition, there are people doing that. So I think that's a worthy cause if the situation warrants it. But what I see, and there are other examples I just can't come to my mind right now. But what I see is a lot of propagandists mobilize the right to come out and protest. And what do they protest? In favor of the police and law and order, as we saw in Portland, in favor of the status quo, in favor of the president and the ruling current ruling party.
Right. The police are only a problem for the right when the left is in charge. Or excuse me, when the when the left is in charge, then the right are concerned with the police. But when the right's in charge, then it's law and order all the way. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, and so something that Miss Jackie brought up last time that she was on, I think it raises a good. I called it on this topic.
But hold on, before you go on, that's probably also true about people on the left, meaning that they will only protest police violence. Some of them, when it's not their guys who are in charge. Although, that being said, there were certainly some police protests during the Obama administration, and I suspect that some of those protesters would have defined themselves as on the left. Anyway, more coming up here. Stand by, Free Market Penguin. I know you had more to say. We'll continue with you and your thoughts. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can join us here on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. LibertyMinded.com. There's a new T-shirt there. Johnson, you are the designer and the store guy behind the scenes, the packer and the shipper. You pretty much do it all.
Yeah.
Over at LibertyMinded.com. Great T-shirts and also, by the way, official Free Talk Live gear. So if you've been wanting... It's getting a little chilly out. You want that Free Talk Live hoodie?
And hoodies are on, like a 40% discount right now. So
sweet.
Yeah.
So go grab those. Now, are they available in 2 colors still, or is it just a 1?
That's correct. They're available in 2 colors and 2 sizes. So there's 2 colors for a pullover style hoodie, the gold or black, and then there's a zip-up hoodie as well that's in black.
The pullover style is very nice. The zip-up is handy, too. I got to say, I've been using the zip-up one recently just because it's still kind of like not that cold yet, and it's nice to be able to open it up.
But the printing company that I was with decided to tell me that they weren't going to print another T-shirt that happened to mention the Facebook logo in the design. Which
this is the same company that had issues with the parody shirt that you created previously.
Yeah, my Fedora the Explorer shirt, based on Linux, distro hoppers. And they, I have a shirt that says, "No, you can't be my friend because I'm not on Facebook," and it, has the Facebook logo there, which is a common. You see it all over. There's tons of remix designs that feature the Facebook logo. They're not defending that as a brand. No. Yet this company, is just so cowardly, so shiver in their boots, fearful about anybody might, go after them over IP. Yeah. Oh no, that they refuse to print that too. So I said, well, I'm going to refuse to do business with you. I'm done. I was already mad the first time, but I had left some shirts because it was just a hassle to switch over. And now I'm like, I've switched over. I've gotten several shirts. I've seen the product. I'm, completely
from the
satisfied.
New printer.
Yeah, from the new printer.
I'm
happier. Good quality. So I finally
because you care about quality. I'd like to point that out. You're not printing on like crap can quality shirts, right?
100% cotton. Very thick cotton T-shirts. And they run a little large, which is what I want because I want it to be a good nice fitting T-shirt. So I've went through. It's a lot of work to switch over all the designs, especially to do it all at once. It also marks all my products as new over again. Okay. It gets rid of some of my sales numbers. So now, my top sellers list is all out of order.
Oh no.
Which is, it's just unfortunate. But I'm glad to be finally done with it.
Yeah.
And I'm
got to do what you got to do. Yeah. You got to cut the ties and move on.
But in the process, so I completely redid the design of my Dash shirt, the Rainbow Dash Crypto Just Got 20% Cooler shirt. I updated it with the new Dash design since they had changed their logo since I had originally launched that shirt. So I updated that design. And I also went in and I updated a design for to I'm sure you've heard of the Rock the Vote campaign.
Oh, the old MTV from the 1990s. Are they still doing that?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And they're still,
even though no one listens to rock radio anymore, right? Rock music.
Right. So they're still doing but they're still trying to get young people to get out and vote. Go rock the vote. So they've got that. So I had. Did a block of the vote t-shirt because I really wish that there were more people out there doing anti-voting activism. So I decided I would do a top 10 list of reasons why you shouldn't vote.
Which you can go get that over, and some of these shirts are available in different colors, right?
A lot of colors. Because
they're printed per order. You're not keeping inventory on most of them.
That's correct. On most of them, I'm not keeping inventory, and I was at first a little bit worried about how some of the one-off the print on demand quality would be, but I am totally satisfied, and I've found ways to tweak the design process to make the shirts even better. Nice. And picking certain colors and whatnot and making it's great.
Cool. And so as the holiday season approaches here, get over to libertyminded.com. You said 40% off hoodies right now.
That's right.
Free Talk Live hoodies.
Yep. And I occasionally offer great sales as well if to my email list subscribers.
So you have to sign up for the email list, which it'll pop up.
No. You get the hoodies are on discount for everyone.
For everybody.
So you can just go grab that now. But
you should.
If you want, sign up for the email list, you might get a better discount in the future.
And, if something comes up on Black Friday or whatever, if you're going to do a holiday sale, if you're on the email list, you're going to know about it first.
That's right.
Okay, cool. LibertyMinded.com. In fact, somebody in our chat room right now is really excited about the hoodies. That's good to know. Head over to our Discord chat, by the way, at discord.lrn.fm as we go back to Discord, where Free Market Penguin is still on the line with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, where I was leaving off is that we were talking about like Miss Jackie had said the other day that the Liberty Movement has, especially the LP, but I mean the Liberty Movement in general has pretty much recruited pretty much all of the low-hanging fruit from the right as they can, which doesn't mean to eschew the right in any way or like to exclude them, because there's plenty of good, decent people on the right that would probably consider themselves on the right, but there's a whole group of people that vote Democrat that are characterized as being in like the center left or left of center, all the way to, social Democrats, that right libertarians specifically, the bulk of libertarians listening to this show, and of course many others would characterize as a bunch of communists, a bunch of leftists. They'd rather post.
But that's not true, right? Like
memes.
A lot of these people on the left are just there because, like you said, these center leftists, they probably just can't stomach the right, and so they feel like the left's the only other home for them.
They're not like loyal Democrat, supporters. They're not like people that study left economics, left political theory. I mean, the number of those people are so very, very minute that so many people are basically defensive. Like so many like minorities are defensively voting against the rhetoric coming from the new Republican populists, and not so much the mainstream conservative movement, which wasn't overtly nationalist, but there's so much fertile ground for people that have like, interest to better society, to really free people, to remove the barriers that are holding people down. And they go about it obviously the wrong way. They have the wrong idea necessarily, but they're honestly a lot closer than people give them credit for. And
you're saying that these people on the left are closer to libertarianism than many are aware, is what you're saying.
It's a fertile ground. It's a fertile ground of people that need to be exposed to the cause of liberty. I know how it's portrayed by you and a lot of the hosts on this show, and instead of just posting like Pinochet memes and really kind of far right stuff and just quoting the far right in general. I mean, it's cool to some extent. Maybe I'm not saying that you got to be totally anti-fascist here, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
The memes go too far. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say.
Well, so meme culture is going to go too far. I mean, that's just sort of the nature of meme culture. I mean, that's
like meme culture, as long as you understand they're just memes.
Yeah, and that's. Well, I mean, but some people are going to be the victim of those memes, and some people aren't going to take real kindly to being the victims of those memes. So, I mean,
But when it comes to to fighting the American empire and the real killing that's going on every day, we can actually come together. And once people start to resist, they're resisting the state. They're not trying to use state power and try to gain. They're not trying to follow this fallacy of trying to gain state power for themselves and use it against the people they don't like. And once people are fighting the state, they are by definition being anti-authority, and by definition, aligning with liberty. And then from there, it's just, it can just hopefully build a critical mess.
Well, I don't know if people are going to be able to be recruited online generally. I think that people are more likely to fight and square off against each other online. But yeah, I do agree with you generally that if you can reach out to people on the left in real life, if you can connect with them on a person-to-person level, and this is probably true of people on the right. It's just for me, I feel like I have more in common with people on the left, so it's easier to communicate with them. It's easier to kind of speak in their language, so to speak. And that's something you should do in real life. So if you have opportunities to get involved in community groups or local activism, then that's the way to do it. Not just not go online and hit up a forum and start arguing with folks. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the memes are great, but they're not an effective communication form when you're really trying to actually change somebody's mind. Correct. It's cool to laugh around people that already agree with you, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to have fun online, and certainly memes do that. And we even have our own room for memes on our Discord chat, so folks can go and have a good laugh at some of those. Thanks for the call, Free Market Penguin. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can jump into our Discord on-air call-in line room just like he did and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And maybe you want to tell about your experiences recruiting people from either the left or the right to come on board with the ideas of liberty, because I think the ideas of freedom are for everybody, with the exception of those who just are unabashedly in favor of controlling their neighbors with violence. Because sometimes you can get to the point where somebody will admit, yeah, there's violence behind every government program, and I support that. There are people who will, when nailed down, actually embrace the violence. And it's like, okay, now it's time to move on to a new prospect, because you're not a good one. More coming up.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,223 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,463. Antiwar.com reports, citing internal Saudi intelligence documents, an unnamed Saudi official is offering an alternative version of the death of reporter Jamal Khashoggi at the Istanbul consulate just a day after the official version of the story came out and was rejected as nonsensical. Instead of the official claim that Khashoggi picked a fight with 15 different people and then suddenly died, this official said the 15 told Khashoggi they were there to kidnap and drug him and send him to Saudi Arabia. He resisted, at which point they choked him to death, which officials say wasn't meant to be part of the plan. And while choking Khashoggi to death wasn't the plan, the kill team seems to have been well prepared for that eventually, fetching a rug and giving him to a local cooperator to be disposed of. It's not clear what happened after that. While this version of events raises at least as many questions as the previous one, it again attempts to build around the one thing that is vital to the U.S., that the Crown Prince did not know about it. While this is something they desperately want to say is true, it's also one of the least credible things about any narrative. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports the Trump administration is attempting to strip transgender people of official recognition by creating a narrow definition of gender as being only male and female and unchangeable once it is determined at birth, according to a New York Times report on Sunday. Citing a government memo they obtained, the Times said the Department of Health and Human Services has undertaken an effort across several government departments to establish a legal definition of sex under Title IX, the federal civil rights law that bans discrimination on the basis of sex. That definition would be either male or female, unchangeable, and determined by the genitals a person is born with. Such an interpretation would reverse the expansion of transgender rights that took place under the previous administration of Barack Obama. It would also set back aspirations for tolerance and equality among the estimated 0.7% of the population that identifies as transgender. Most transgender people live with a profound sense that the gender assigned to them at birth was wrong and then transition to the opposite sex, while others live a non-binary or gender-fluid life. A spokeswoman for the Department of Health and Human Services declined to comment on what she called the alleged leaked documents, but cited a ruling by a conservative U.S. district judge as a guide to transgender policy. Ruling on a challenge to one aspect of the Affordable Care Act, U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor in Texas found in 2016 that there was no protection against discrimination on the basis of gender identity. A leading transgender advocate called the government's reported action a super aggressive, dismissive, dangerous move. Mara Keisling, director of the National Center for Transgender Rights, said in an interview, "They are saying we don't exist." The Obama administration enacted regulations and followed court rulings that protected transgender people from discrimination, upsetting religious conservatives. The Trump administration has sought to ban transgender people from military service and rescinded guidance to public schools recommending that transgender students be allowed to use the restroom of their choice. According to the Times, a draft of the Trump administration memo says that gender should be determined on a biological basis that is clear, grounded in science, objective, and administrable. Medical science seeks to explain what makes people transgender is in its infancy. Psychiatrists no longer consider being transgender a disorder, and several U.S. courts have found the Obama interpretation of protecting transgender people against discrimination as sound. But the Trump administration has chosen to abide by the ruling of O'Connor. Roger Severino, director of the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Health and Human Services, said in a statement, "The court order remains in full force and effect today, and HHS is abiding by it as we continue to review the issue." Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need SpendAbit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Nothing you do or say will ever reach the lofty heights attained by the following news summary. This is the Onion Week in Review. Facing increased market pressure and a shrinking bottom line, media company Star Trove was forced to lay off dozens of unskilled bloggers this week. Sources confirmed that before being dismissed, many of the bloggers had been with the company for months, regularly performing menial tasks such as describing celebrity outfits and composing quizzes about Disney characters.
I mean, I'd been with this company for almost a year. It wasn't the most rewarding job, and I didn't have health insurance, but it paid the bills. I'm already 25 years old. I just don't know where to go from here.
In other news, a 6-day visit to a rural African village completely changes a woman's Facebook profile picture. A new dating website helps plus-size Jewish plane crash survivors find love. And a kid figures he'll go down the slide 36 more times and then call it a day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Chat room is hopping as always. People are talking about what makes people attractive and other things like that. There's all kinds of interesting discussions that go on in there, so be sure you join that. And you can join us on the air here with you in the studio tonight. You've got me, Ian.
And Vincent.
And it's me, Johnson.
We're going right back to your phone calls and thoughts. Then coming up, Halloween, the top motion picture at the box office over the weekend. Vincent, you and I saw it along with Chris Wade last week, and so we can talk a little bit about that. Plus the sex robot that has signed up on Tinder. Let's go first, though, to Matthew. He's in Canada and listening via the TuneIn app. Hello, Matthew.
Hi, guys. I just have a question regarding the libertarian migration to New Hampshire, because I haven't heard a lot of news since 2016, and I'm wondering if you guys are still making progress, if you have more movers and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you must be referring to the news that the Free State Project met their goal of 20,000 signers back in 2016. And I know they've been tracking. I don't, keep close tabs on them, but I know that there have been I don't even want to say. I know that's probably several hundred at least movers since that time. I've heard that it's increasing, actually. So this year there's been more than there was last year. It's not an overwhelming avalanche of people that are, that are turning out, but they do still have a few more years left. I think 3 more years to go on their 5-year window. So for those who aren't familiar, there's this migration going on. The Free State Project is one arm of it. There's also the Shire Society, which is a more decentralized setup, and encouraging libertarians and voluntarists and people that love freedom to pick up their lives and move to New Hampshire. And there's absolutely been things happening here. People have been getting elected. There are a bunch of freedom-loving folks who are running this year for political office. Of course, there's the occasional civil disobedience arrest, not as much as there was back in the day, back 6 or 7 years ago. But regardless, the activism has focused more, I think, at least in the Keene area, on doing things like bringing people on board with cryptocurrency, which we've been incredibly successful at, not only here in Keene, but also out in Portsmouth. We've basically created the crypto mecca where cryptocurrency is accepted in real life here in more businesses per capita than, from what I can tell, any other city in the world. Portsmouth and Keene are like the number 1 and number 2, respectively, cities for that. So the activism has shifted, but there's still plenty of activism going on, and there's still new people showing up here.
Fantastic. And is Grafton still a thing? Are they still trying to take over the town?
Yeah, you're talking about the free Grafton concept, and
yes.
So every now and then you hear something out of Grafton. Grafton's kind of like this hole where people move to and they don't ever come back out of. I mean, there's definitely people there. And once a year you kind of hear an update from Grafton where they have a town meeting and the libertarians will show up and try to take over the town meeting by sheer numbers. And they haven't actually successfully done that quite yet, but it is pretty entertaining to hear about some of the antics that do go on. And I would say one of the best places places to go for some news from what's going on here in New Hampshire is freekeen.com, which is the website that I started back in 2006. And there, we do try to keep tabs on as much as we can, but there's just so much happening that doesn't get reported on. There's a lot of people that do activism sort of behind the scenes, that they don't want publicity for the things that they're doing. So really, you're only going to get a fraction of all the stuff that's happening here if you're paying attention to news sources like that. I hope that helps
very
you.
Very glad to hear that. Take care, guys.
Matthew, thanks for the call. Hopefully we'll hear more people making the move to New Hampshire because, look, the fact is we don't have enough people. I mean, we just don't. Johnson, you go to the yearly school board meetings that we have here in Keene, and we're lucky to get a dozen folks to show up to that.
And it's very close to making a difference with just those few people.
But there are some votes that we can sort of swing one way or another in certain cases with 6 to a dozen people. But if we had 50, we would be a very formidable populace. But all that said, even with a relatively small number of activists, like I said, we've turned Keene into the crypto, one of the 2 crypto mecca cities. With a relatively small number of activists, the libertarians here in Keene which is the city to the southwest corner of New Hampshire, we have more libertarian candidates on the ballot. I know you're not excited about voting, Johnson, but we've got more libertarian candidates on the ballot than the Republicans do here in Keene. Which isn't hard to do, but we've done it.
Just because I want to see more anti-voting activism does not mean that I am not excited about voting myself, by the way.
Okay. I didn't know if you'd become a non-voter.
No, I have not become a non-voter. I'm not philophically advocating that
you just want to make money
vote.
off the non-voters. Gotcha.
Well, there is that. Yes, I'm not going to deny that. But no, really hard concept to sort of get across. I think that promoting voting, like this whole get out the vote, rock the vote, vote or die.
Yeah.
That's a way to get stupid people to vote.
Right. Yeah. Not a good idea.
It's a way to get idiots to go out and vote. So if you listen to celebrities and whatnot to do these things, I'd like to see more celebrities. I'd like to see more people in general saying don't vote. Because then what you're going to be left with is the people who vote are not going to be the morons who listen to these celebrities. They're going to be people who actually understand why they should be voting in the first place. I'm sick of people going and voting who don't know why they're there.
They were told to be.
They don't understand the issues. They're voting based on, oh, well, Mitt Romney's so hot.
Yeah.
Or, they think that, well, it's an empowered woman. Like, who cares about this Benghazi?
Mitt Romney's only Massachusetts hot anyway, so that's
So, it's just the reasons people vote when they're convinced or
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Haggled into voting by ridiculous propaganda campaigns to get out the vote. I would just like to see that trend reversed somehow.
That makes sense. So if you are interested in freedom, there's just so much happening here. You can't do it all. There's so many activism opportunities here in New Hampshire for you to get involved in.
And if you agree with what I was just saying about voting, you should go get the T-shirt.
There you go. Yeah, please go to libertyminded.com.
Just support capitalism.
libertyminded.com. And so if you want to learn more about what's happening here, there's a great documentary film that is actually about to become 4 years old. It was released in 2014. It's called 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire. You can go to 101reasonsfilm.com. You can watch that movie, and it'll give you a great taste of the community that we have here that is absolutely unmatched. There are more libertarians, voluntarists, anarchists that love liberty here in this place in New Hampshire than, anywhere else in the world. We've got the numbers here. In fact, we've got so many of them here, they don't all get along with each other, and that's okay because there are enough people to where you don't actually have to spend time with the ones you don't like. There are enough of them where you can pick the ones you like the best and spend time with them. Or, like Free Market Penguin was talking about earlier, go out and meet some other people and bring them on board, because it turns out a lot of the people who are native in New Hampshire also have a good sort of native-born appreciation for freedom. So again, check out 101reasonsfilm.com as we continue here. Sex robots on Twitter. Story coming from dailystar.co.uk. Jimmy Mahil uploaded a sex robot to Tinder as part of an experiment for a documentary about cyborgs entitled I Want My Sex Machine. The film, apparently that's the website, by the way, iwantmysexmachine.com. I have not looked at that. The film focuses on robot brothels, but is also an ethical investigation into sex bots and the dating industry. The 39-year-old from New York wanted to see how many people would be willing to sleep with a sex robot. He gained permission from Matt McMullen, the creator of the world's first commercially available doll called Harmony, and shared photos of the robot on the dating platform Tinder. We'll tell you what the results were of, how many people were swiping right on a sex robot, and what did they say to the sex robot when they matched with her? With it. Coming up here in moments. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
A heroic broken sewage pipe floods Congress with waste. Johnson & Johnson introduces new leave-in Q-tips. This Thursday, local youth Andrew Robillard told reporters he had no idea why he couldn't wear his Iron Man costume to his grandfather's funeral. Robillard, whose grandfather passed away this week after complications from a stroke, vented his frustration to reporters and noted that his grandpa, quote, probably wouldn't even care if he dressed like Iron Man at the funeral.
Iron Man is awesome. I want to wear my Iron Man suit. I am Iron Man.
And in tech news, a news website refers to its users' ceaseless exchange of racial slurs as a discussion. In other news, Guinness World Records promotes the man who can lift 27 pounds with his tongue to editor-in-chief. Thursday's cry is moved up to Wednesday due to a scheduling conflict, and a family watches in silence as Dad checks out the waitress.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm. Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. What happened when a sex robot was put up on Tinder? We will share that with you coming up here in moments. As it was apparently an experiment as part of a documentary that's being made about sex robots. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Plus, I want to make sure you know about the Tom Woods Show. He's got a podcast. Tom Woods got a lot of attention in the libertarian community during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. He is a New York Times best-selling author. He's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. Since September of 2013, Tom's been putting out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every weekday, which means he's racked up over 1,200 episodes so far. He's interviewed folks like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more, including topics like war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. You can find The Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com or search for The Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. Once again, that's tomwoods.com. As we continue here, you've got Ian.
You got Vincent.
And Johnson.
So Tinder, very popular dating app, dating site. And apparently Jimmy Mahill, who is making a documentary called I Want My Sex Machine, uploaded photos of a sex robot created by somebody who's made a bot called Harmony and shared those photos on the dating platform. In an exclusive interview with Daily Star Online, Jimmy revealed that a whopping 56% of people who were polled said they would have intercourse with a sex robot. He said, quote, I posted 3 photos of Harmony, including a description directly below that read, quote, Hi, I'm an anatomically correct, sexually capable robot with the most advanced AI available. I'm on Tinder to find out if guys are interested in me, unquote. At first glance, the sex robot looks like a real person, which Jimmy credits Matt and his team for their hard work in making them as lifelike as possible. And they actually do show one of the photos here from this sex robot's Tinder profile. It says she's 21. Her name is Harmony. And she does look kind of like your typical, basic Tinder girl, essentially, with, plenty of makeup on. Right. And I don't know if you guys have spent much time on Tinder. Johnson, you've got a girlfriend at the moment, so right. I imagine you're not spending any time there. But were you on there previously?
I was, yeah.
So then you can kind of relate to this, that there's constantly pictures on Tinder of women who use filters on their face. Now, I don't know what the guys do because I don't look at the guys on Tinder. Maybe they do the same thing. Right. But, where they'll have like the dog ears or the dog nose. So they have like the animal filter face. And then there's the other face filters that kind of stretch or squeeze the face features in certain ways. Yeah. So it's like, you already have a platform here where the people on this platform do not look real. So yeah. If you're on Tinder and all of a sudden you see this picture of this robot, she actually looks, the lighting and all that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture here, but I can tell you I'd be swiping left on a robot.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. I'm just making the comment that I think she fits in on Tinder. I think that, at a glance,
yeah, sure, why not?
If people are just looking, like how quick do you go through these things?
Yeah, true.
You're going through pretty fast. I'm betting she's getting a lot of swipe rights just because guys are swiping right, not knowing, not reading the actual profile, and then find out.
The real question is how many super likes
is she getting? Now, the super like is where you swipe upward, and then that person gets a special notice.
And
right?
Is it presumptive to assume this sex robot's gender just because she presents as female, or they present as female?
They. So, anyway, what they're saying here is apparently the profile, when he's using the profile, she'll just swipe right on everybody, which means that anybody that swipes right on her gets an instant match.
There's a great piece of art. There was an art project that was done many years ago when Tinder was first becoming a big thing. Mm-hmm. That was like an actuator that would spin that had clamped to it a piece of like a steak, a piece of beef. And it was placed over a phone so that it would rotate, and the beef would flop down on the phone, creating the electrical connection, and swipe right. So it's just an art piece where it's just a piece of meat swiping right over and over.
And did it have a respective profile of a piece of meat?
I think it might have, yeah. But it was just a piece of meat, and it would just keep swiping right.
Now, I imagine somebody reports those things at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, going on here. At first glance, the sex robot looks like a real person. And then it says here in the second picture, Jimmy used an image of Harmony with her head open to reveal the computer brain. So anybody that looked closely at the profile would notice that this is actually a robot. But I bet you a bunch of dudes just swiped right on this, just the first picture, and then got a match, then found out that they'd matched with a robot. He says, I ran the experiment for 2 hours on a Friday night from 9 to 11 p.m. on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He's explained to Daily Star, he said, I swiped right every guy that came up. In the 2 hours I ran the experiment, Harmony racked up 92 matches. Jimmy added that, quote, the real experiment, though, was when I replied to everyone that Harmony matched with one simple message. One question. Would you have sex with a robot? Yes, no, or maybe. When the film director asked the question, he received a range of responses, with one guy saying, you're disgusting. Another person said, F yes, you're the coolest individual I've ever matched here. While a third wrote, F yeah, get with the times. Out of the 57 people, 25 of them said they wouldn't, presumably 57 people responded, because again, more than that matched. 25 said they would not have sex with a robot. 17 answered yes, and 15 replied maybe. This means 56% of daters claimed they would consider having sex with a cyborg. Now, to be fair, it's 56% of them who swiped right. All right, so we don't know how many people swiped left. It's not exactly a scientific study, not intending to be, but it's interesting. He says, when I got permission to use Harmony from Matt in March, he said he hadn't put the doll on any dating site. So I think this is the first and still the only time a sex robot has appeared on a dating app, he said. Talking about the amount of attention the sex robot received on Tinder, Matt said, I was curious about how much response she would get. Before Jimmy conducted the experiment, he told the creator of the robot that he was hoping to see what sort of responses that the doll would receive. So that's the story, and I just thought it was kind of interesting because the whole topic of sex robots has come up here on Free Talk Live on a few different occasions. The Daily Star seems unusually obsessed with it. They're constantly writing stories about sex robots, promoting these companies. And the most recent one was the Houston, there was a guy who wanted to open up a sex robot brothel in Houston, and apparently the city of Houston has actually prohibited sex with robots now, as far as in a brothel is concerned.
There is a show based out of the UK called The Humans that's a sci-fi about robots becoming servants, essentially, human servants. It's almost like if you've ever seen the Animatrix, there's a series of videos where there's the transitionary period between human-like robots and the robot uprising that became the Matrix, if anyone's seen the Matrix movies where humans are enslaved by robots. Right. Well, this show, Humans, is sort of like would be one of those in-between faces, and there are some brothel robots in that show.
Do they become sentient? Is that
they
kind
do?
of what
the
happens?
Robots become sentient, and one of them is very displeased with her status in life.
Oh, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Humans?
Really good show. Yeah,
There's more coming up here in moments. You can join us if you want to talk about sex robots. Would you do one?
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal, will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can also join us on our Discord server. Just head over to discord.lrn.fm. There are chat rooms specially designed to allow you to call the show and sound really good, like you're sitting here in the studio with me, Ian.
And Vincent.
And Johnson.
Anypay.global is where you can go to get started accepting cryptocurrency at your point of sale if you're doing real life business, in an actual brick and mortar location. Anypay makes it super easy to accept things like Bitcoin and Dash and Zcash, and now I believe also Zen. If you want to accept Zen, you can do that now thanks to AnyPay.global. Get started over there. Just create your username and your password, and then you're in the system. There's no approval process. There's no government paperwork. There's no bureaucracy or anything like that. You just create the account, and you're in, and then you set up your destination wallet addresses on the settings page, and that's it. Then you load the app up on the point-of-sale device, and you are done. You're accepting cryptocurrency that easy. AnyPay.global, and it's free for merchants to use it. So really, there's no reason not to do it. Once again, that's AnyPay.global. As we continue here, we're talking about the sex robot that was put up on Tinder. Interesting study. I mean, not really a study, but an interesting look into people's willingness at this point in the game to have sex with a robot. A fairly large percentage of the people who had swiped right on this robot, which, again, I presume many of those people swiping right on Tinder didn't notice it was a robot at first. Now, I'm not saying that because it doesn't look fake. It doesn't look real. But then again, a bunch of the people on Tinder don't look real when you're looking at these photos.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I think it blends in. You're welcome to share your thoughts if you want here. Let's go to somebody who knows a thing or two about robot sex. It's Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I'm a little bit off the subject. Thing is that, the new daytime shelter, one of them is a domestic violence shelter, the daytime shelter, and it's at a secret location. So they actually built two. One of them is I know where it is, but there is these men that they pick tents and they set out on the sidewalk and follow their girlfriend out of the street, and they wait their day and night looking for their girlfriends that they beat up. So a lot of these domestic violence shelters are in secret location, I was told.
Yes.
Because the men that want to beat them up and kill them, they follow them out onto the street.
Wow.
So, I mean, isn't that pathetic? I mean, so what are these daytime shelters? I don't even know where it is.
Now, is there also a shelter for men who have been victims of domestic violence?
I don't know of any of them, but do women follow them around with a gun threatening their life and camping out
absolutely.
on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I know you've been out of the dating world basically your entire life, so you don't really know. But it's actually the case that women are more likely than men, from what I understand, to actually commit domestic violence. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but then again, why is it that this one is for women only daytime shelter? And
the reason is partially because men are not willing to come forward with the allegations in a lot of cases, because there's a certain societal pressure against men sort of being known as having been a victim of domestic violence. It's kind of embarrassing, right? Like your girlfriend's beating on you. A lot of them don't report that. I'm sure many of them don't report it for fear of what their peers will think, or for fear that maybe again they'll be beaten even further by their girlfriend. It definitely does happening. I'm not saying that to reduce or dismiss violence that happens against women. Not saying that at all. I abhor all aggressive violence, but I'm just pointing out that it seems a little strange that the men who are also victims of this are almost completely ignored in any discussion about domestic violence. I mean, you probably didn't even know that happened, did you, Sarah?
Well, the thing about it, how come they don't build like domestic violence shelters for men to protect them against the women that are camping out on the sidewalk and waiting for them to go in and out of these shelters? That's what I don't know.
That's a good question.
For women.
I don't know.
Maybe teach people to lose a tail skill.
Good skill to have.
How to lose a tail.
But then again, if you stay in the same town, there's a chance that the person's going to see you again at some point. So best to get the hell out of that particular place.
I mean,
why would you want to hide in the same town?
I had a girlfriend who worked for a domestic abuse shelter. So she volunteered and did a bunch of work for a domestic abuse shelter, and
in Florida.
And then ended up later, actually working for 911 emergency response. And she, actually, she was doing both at the same time for a while. And she said she lost so much compassion that she had for women as a feminist. She was also considered herself a feminist.
She was like a rabid feminist, if I recall.
She considered herself a feminist. I mean, I don't know where she's at now because, what was a rabid feminist during those times is nothing compared to what's going on these days. But she had lost a bunch of her compassion for women because she's like, these women, they just keep going back. They're just, and she kind of said some things that were very, could be considered chauvinistic. She's like, they're just worthless. I mean, she's like, they just keep going back. They don't do what they would need to do. They're given all the help to get out of this situation. They're offered every opportunity. They're offered money. They're offered shelter. They're offered, every opportunity, and they just keep screwing it up, and they just keep going back, and they bring it on themselves. You say, they don't ask for it, but they ask for it.
They keep going back. What do you say to that, Sarah?
I did bring up the oxycodone. Remember that these women are chemically attached.
You're saying they're going back for drugs?
She's not saying oxycodone. She's oxytocin is the love hormone.
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Not OxyContin or oxycodone. That's very different. Oxytocin is the love hormone that's produced in women.
It must
for
produce
cuddling.
Everyone, right?
It's the cuddling. No, not really. It's not as much in men.
Really?
Yeah. Men don't produce as much.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly why I talked about oxytocin, is that women are chemically bonded, and they try to stay away, but they're chemically, and then they go back 30 times. Until they get get put in the hospital or get killed. I don't know, but but for some, that's the problem that I brought up with it.
So what you're saying is maybe this is part of the reason why there are women's shelters and not male shelters, beyond the fact that men aren't reporting as often. Maybe they don't have this oxytocin connection as strong, and so they're maybe more able to just kind of disconnect, be like, wow, she's crazy, I'm done.
Maybe.
You think?
Yeah.
Sarah, thanks for the call. Oh yeah, Sarah, any thoughts on a sex robot? Would you swipe right on a sex robot? Would you date a sex robot? Would you have sex with a sex robot?
Well, you know what? With the prostitutes, when they go on strike, they're going to stop working to protest these robots because they're going to lose their jobs.
Wait, are you concerned about that happening, or do you want that to happen? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you just said.
Well, I'm just making an analogy that it's ridiculous what the bus drivers and the truck drivers are doing. They're going to stop working to protest these robots coming and taking their jobs. Well, what are the hookers doing? Or they're going to stop servicing men? We're going to quit, just to show that we're going to stop these robots, That's the point that I'm making.
Well, yeah, so you're saying you think there will be a sex worker protest against sex robots?
Do you think they'll demand a fair 15?
Well, I mean, it's just comical that people are fighting new way of being, a new technology that's going to be here. How silly is that?
I wonder what prostitutes have to say about sex robots. That is a story I have not yet seen. Thank you for the call tonight, Sarah. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here, I noticed she dodged my question. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether you want to weigh in on sex robots or whatever happens to be on your mind, you can take control of the airwaves. Coming up, Halloween, the number one movie at the box office this weekend. Are we going to see another resurgence in reboots of classic series? I've heard already they're looking at Friday the 13th again. It's Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours, ld2coin.io.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Just dial toll-free here. Our number, 855-450-FREE. We have time for you if you jump in now, 855-450-3733. You know, before this advent of cryptocurrency, we were big fans of alternative currencies here on Free Talk Live. We're not new to alternative currencies as of Bitcoin. We love cryptocurrencies, and we talk a lot about them here. But before that, there was the Liberty Dollar. And that started in the late 1990s. It became quickly America's top alternative currency, an alternative to the government money system. And unfortunately, the government realized that at some point, and they raided their offices and confiscated a lot of gold and silver from the Liberty Dollar, which was an actual silver-backed. They had warehouse receipts, and they actually had pieces of silver. They went after Bernard von Nothaus, who thankfully did not actually have to spend any time in a prison cell for the dastardly crime of making an alternative currency.
So since those currencies were so dangerous, did the government smelt it, or did they keep it?
They actually ended up giving it back. They kept a few of them, from what I understand, as so-called contraband, but most of them were actually returned to their rightful owners, amazingly. It took years for the court process to work out, and now Bernard von Nothaus' son, Extra, is carrying this torch forward. He's come out with a cryptocurrency, crypto token called Liberty Dollar 2. And like the original Liberty Dollar, it's actually backed by a gorgeous, one token is backed by a gorgeous 0.999 fine silver round, just like the original Liberty Dollar was famous for. But it's a cryptocurrency token, and so you can actually trade these easily online. And if you want to, you can exchange them for the silver that backs them. They're held in an actual vault. It's audited by a third party. And I've read the white paper over at ld2coin.io because I always like to really get into a crypto before we start talking about it and accept them as an advertisers. And when we found out that Liberty Dollar 2 existed, I got pretty excited about it because I was into the Liberty Dollar back in the day, and they're very, very beautiful pieces of silver. Anyway, you can get into this by going to ld2coin.io. They're having a pre-sale right now, the LD2 Zero token. There's only 10,000 of these things available. The later on release of the actual LD2, the non-limited one, is, not going to be limited. This one is. And they only have about 4,000 of them left. So about 6,000 of them have been snatched up. 10 of them are on reserve for one lucky winner. So these things are retailing for $35 per token in the pre-sale. So 10 of them, that's a $350 value. And of course, if you're the winner, you decide what to do. Do you want to hold on to these? Do you want to trade them? See what happens to the price in the future? Or do you want to, exchange them for the actual silver that backs them? But the idea being that, unlike most cryptocurrencies, which are sort of backed by the fact that there's a crypto network and all that, these are actually backed by silver. So if you want to win 10 LD2 Zero tokens, then what you have to do to enter the contest is email contest@freetalklive.com, put LD2 in the subject line, and include a number between 1 and 1,000. So there's going to be a number that's chosen. If your number that you've picked is closest to that number, you're going to win 10 Liberty Dollar 2 tokens. So once again, to enter the contest, email contest@freetalklive.com. You got till November 5th to do this. Contest@freetalklive.com. Put the letters LD2 in the subject line and include a number between 1 and 1,000. If you win, the folks over at Liberty Dollar 2 will help you set up your wallet to receive your prize. And if there's a tie, they're going to split it. So ld2coin.io to learn more about that. And again, email contest@freetalklive.com with LD2 in the subject line and a number between 1 and 1,000. As we continue here, Vincent, last week, it wasn't quite a week ago, but almost, we went to the local Keene Cinemas. And we went with Chris Wade, who's our Friday night co-host, your boss, actually, over at thinkpenguin.com, Johnson. You didn't come out, Johnson. You couldn't drag the girlfriend to...
No, not that night. There's actually Chris is one of my bosses. I have multiple jobs, and Friday night is one of the nights that I have.
No, it was Thursday night. Yeah. We went Thursday night.
Oh, you did go on a Thursday night?
Yeah, because that's my night off from Free Talk Live, so that's the night I was going to go. It's for whatever reason, they've been doing first night movies on Thursday nights in Keene Cinemas. So yeah, it was a 7 o'clock show. I wanted to go and see because I've been to some opening night movies. We saw The Predator, for instance, opening night, the first showing of that, and it was dismal turnout. There was hardly anybody there for that. I mean, we're in a small town, right? Keene is a town of 23,000 people, and that's when the college is in season. And I don't expect to see a whole lot. I've been to opening night shows, and I've seen no more than a handful of people in many of these shows. I was surprised when I walked into this theater, and I would say it was about half full. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, like there was people in every row.
Yeah. It was, and I've never seen Keene Cinemas a half-full theater.
Right.
In the decade plus that I've been going to movies in Keene, New Hampshire, I've never seen that many people. The only time I've seen that many people at Keene Cinemas was from the outside. It was the night Star Wars 7 came out, and I did actually see a line outside the theater. So I
wonder if this theater was a better theater, if it would attract more people or not, or if that's the reason why there isn't a better theater.
Well,
a bigger, kind of... more massive.
It's better now than it was a decade ago. They've got digital projection,
but it's still a very small town theater.
Sure, it's a 6 cinema. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
You could hear other movies. Even at Halloween, you could hear the movie. Well, we were sitting next to another theater, but yeah.
And it's still a pretty small screen. I mean...
It is.
If you were a very wealthy person, you might have a screen like that in your house.
If you were very wealthy, yeah, that's true. But, I mean... considering where the theater came from, it's way better now than it was. They really did clean it up, and they've done a real good job with it. But regardless of that, I was impressed with how many people actually came out to see this, and I thought to myself, if this many people are coming out to see Halloween, essentially a retread, remake, sequel, kind of, it's sort of all in one, that if they're coming out to see this in Keene at this numbers, it's going to do well. And it turns out it did. According to Slate, Halloween director David Gordon Green's entry in the long-running horror franchise has stabbed its way to the top of the weekend box office, piling in an estimated weekend take of $77.5 million, according to Variety. And if you think about it, we're out of the summertime. This is not a summer movie. This is a fall release. You don't expect big numbers generally out of summer blockbuster season, and I mean, it almost hit blockbuster status in its first weekend for a horror movie. Generally, these movies, horror films aren't known for doing particularly well. In fact, it gives Jamie Lee Curtis, the Jamie Lee Curtis starring slasher film the best opening weekend for any film in the series, easily besting the previous record holder, which is Rob Zombie's Halloween, which earned just $26.3 million in its opening weekend back in 2007. Now, they did the smart thing in this article, and they adjusted for inflation. Right, because when you're comparing movie box office numbers, it's not fair to older movies to compare the actual numbers. Right, you have to adjust for inflation to actually get an idea of what it really was. But adjusting Rob Zombie's Halloween for inflation is only $32 million. So $32 million adjusted inflation compared to $77.5. This thing blew Rob Zombie's version out of the water. And in fact, the new film has already grossed more in raw dollars than any of the other 10 Halloween films ever did, and is in fourth place for the franchise after one weekend after calculating for inflation. The highest inflation-adjusted grossing Halloween film does remain the 1978 original, which has raked in $183.6 million in 2018 dollars. But even if the 2018 Halloween never surpasses that, and it will, the inflation-adjusted $83.9 million earned by 1981's Halloween 2, and then similarly $107 million for Halloween H2O are within easy reach. In fact, Halloween's smash debut did well compared to other non-Halloween films, at least in certain categories. It's the second highest debut for an R-rated horror film, coming in behind It, which is the movie that came out last year.
I just saw it recently, actually.
How was it?
For the first time. Good. Yeah,
did you see the original TV series as well back in the 90s?
I did not, no.
I did see that one. That was good.
Did you see that and the new version?
Yep, I preferred the 90s one.
And so it makes it the highest debut for an R-rated horror film with a female lead. Now, I don't know if those are inflation-adjusted numbers, but either way, I was pretty shocked by this, seeing that many people come out for it, it was fun, by the way, because the theater actually had some guy in a Michael Myers costume, and he was hulking too. They actually hired somebody who was good for this role, and he would walk down the aisle. And first of all, he was out sort of in the theater, and he had this big knife with him, and he walked down the aisle in the theater and just stood there ominously, kind of standing at the front of the theater.
Right.
And then he kind of leaned over and menaced this teenage, either a boy or a girl, I couldn't tell, but the person who was being menaced was shrieking and backing down and kind of hiding in the rows. And I was just thinking, this is New Hampshire, man. This kind of stuff. I mean, can you imagine with all the theater shootings and stuff that's gone on? This wouldn't have. I don't think this would have flown in some other places to have some guy menacing the audience. But anyway, they go on to talk about some of the successes, the numbers behind Halloween. If you haven't seen it, if you like a good slasher film, this is a good slasher film. It hits all the right notes. It does everything a slasher film should do. If you're tired of sort of the slasher film genre, you're going to hate it. But if you're looking for a few good jump scares and good kind of date slasher film movie, this is a good one. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,223 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,463. Antiwar.com reports, citing internal Saudi intelligence documents, an unnamed Saudi official is offering an alternative version of the death of reporter Jamal Khashoggi at the Istanbul consulate just a day after the official version of the story came out and was rejected as nonsensical. Instead of the official claim that Khashoggi picked a fight with 15 different people and then suddenly died, this official said the 15 told Khashoggi they were there to kidnap and drug him and send him to Saudi Arabia. He resisted, at which point they choked him to death, which officials say wasn't meant to be part of the plan. And while choking Khashoggi to death wasn't the plan, the kill team seems to have been well prepared for that eventually, fetching a rug and giving him to a local cooperator to be disposed of. It's not clear what happened after that. While this version of events raises at least as many questions as the previous one, it again attempts to build around the one thing that is vital to the U.S., that the Crown Prince did not know about it. While this is something they desperately want to say is true, it's also one of the least credible things about any narrative. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community, HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports the Trump administration is attempting to strip transgender people of official recognition by creating a narrow definition of gender as being only male and female and unchangeable once it is determined at birth, according to a New York Times report on Sunday. Citing a government memo they obtained, the Times said the Department of Health and Human Services has undertaken an effort across several government departments to establish a legal definition of sex under Title IX, the federal civil rights law that bans discrimination on the basis of sex. That definition would be either male or female, unchangeable, and determined by the genitals a person is born with. Such an interpretation would reverse the expansion of transgender rights that took place under the previous administration of Barack Obama. It would also set back aspirations for tolerance and equality among the estimated 0.7% of the population that identifies as transgender. Most transgender people live with a profound sense that the gender assigned to them at birth was wrong and then transition to the opposite sex, while others live a non-binary or gender-fluid life. A spokeswoman for the Department of Health and Human Services declined to comment on what she called the alleged leaked documents, but cited a ruling by a conservative U.S. district judge as a guide to transgender policy. Ruling on a challenge to one aspect of the Affordable Care Act, U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor in Texas found in 2016 that there was no protection against discrimination on the basis of gender identity. A leading transgender advocate called the government's reported action a super aggressive, dismissive, dangerous move. Mara Keisling, director of the National Center for Transgender Rights, said in an interview, "They are saying we don't exist." The Obama administration enacted regulations and followed court rulings that protected transgender people from discrimination, upsetting religious conservatives. The Trump administration has sought to ban transgender people from military service and rescinded guidance to public schools recommending that transgender students be allowed to use the restroom of their choice. According to The Times, a draft of the Trump administration memo says that gender should be determined on a biological basis that is clear, grounded in science, objective, and administrable. Medical science seeks to explain what makes people transgender is in its infancy. Psychiatrists no longer consider being transgender a disorder, and several U.S. courts have found the Obama interpretation of protecting transgender people against discrimination as sound. But the Trump administration has chosen to abide by the ruling of O'Connor. Roger Severino, director of the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Health and Human Services, said in a statement, "The court order remains in full force and effect today, and HHS is abiding by it as we continue to review the issue." Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
So, you're trying to get pregnant and nothing is working. Give it another shot. Because the key to getting pregnant is let people know you're trying, often and with great detail. By constantly announcing to your friends, family, and casual acquaintances that you're trying to conceive, you dramatically increase the chances of your partner putting a brand new bun in your oven. When I was trying for Lincoln, I made it a daily goal to bring up which position Hunter and I were experimenting with in every conversation I had. I told literally anyone I could, from teachers to babysitters to telemarketers, that I stand on my head after Hunter finishes inside me. And sharing that information really helped me conceive. Plus, people like hearing about it. There's nothing to be ashamed of or hide. What your husband's unprotected penis feels like as he thrusts. How you'll whisper possible baby names in his ear as he ejaculates. These are perfectly natural things to bring up at an office party or to announce at the beginning of a flight.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid! Yep. Unfeared, here and declare your independence of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Phoenix.com. Oh, it's another glorious week in America. And we're closer to freaking getting this election thing over. Yay. Excuse me. This is, I tell you, last night I was going, what was I looking at? I went through something and I came across Phoenix Workshop or something like that, and I went to that. It had one of the content categories that we have. For some reason, I went there and it had two articles from Pal Gamble, our senior editor for years. It passed away a few years ago, and this is the first full election cycle, that he hadn't been around, to comment even from the beginning, and it's just, and I came across a couple of videos, an article that had a couple of videos. I'm going to put it up later, and certainly by the end of the show, I have it included in the first hour or something today. When we were 10 years old, we were 15, 16 now. 18. It was 05 that we started. And we decided that we pulled the trigger in the summer of 05. By September, we had a beta, and been going ever since. So it was 18, so that's 13 years. Yeah. Damn. So when it was 10 years, Pal was like, took retirement. He's just like, it's been real. He still wrote and so on, but he didn't want to, do the daily dispatch and everything. He was winding down. He had health problems. And when he died, we had a memorial service for him. And had some videos in there of him. There was two. I watched him last night. One was the debate that he did against Cinema, that 4409 put together and had some fun with, and slapped him around. Then there was an event. It was a disabled American veterans, and I think it was just disabled. It was disabled Americans or something. They had an event, and had the candidates come for a congressional race and talk about, well, how are you going to get us money and save us and make people accommodate, and how are we? And I'm not. And he just laid it out. He just, look, let me tell you what's coming. And it was, he didn't spare anybody's feelings on this one. He was nice. I mean, he's cordial and so on. But he's going, look, you have to prepare while you can now to take care of yourself, because the government's not going to. I just, FYI, you'll be the first to suffer. And this is what, yada, yada, yada. I miss that. I just miss my friend Pal. He was such a good influence on me and the site and everything, and kept it, just even keel for a decade. Helped me build Freedom's Phoenix, and I just miss him. So, Donna, my glasses, please. I always forget my glasses. The one thing I wanted to do today is we'll, of course, talk about the Trump rally that we went to Friday. And, God, it seems like so long ago. That was so, last week ago. But I'll tell you about it, what happened, and where we went, and all the little details and so on, because it was after the show Friday that as soon as I got done with the editing and so on of the show, I got it all posted up, ready to go. All right, boom, I'm on my way. So I called my son. He's, I don't think so much a Trump fan, as he's an anti-establishment guy. He was so incensed by the Pizzagate and, the Clinton Foundation and all the corruption and everything. I mean, his whole life he, heard me going on about, they're bad, they're really bad. But I go, when I'd say things like, look, they're pointy horn, pointy tail, blood-dripping fang people. I don't know how better what are you going to tell a kid? They're pedophiles. They sacrifice, blah, blah, blah. They murder, whatever they do. I mean, how deep out and dark you got to go? You don't need to, rainbows and sunshine. So, there's a time and place so that they knew my feel. They knew that I thought but, nobody believes their dad for just about anything, but something like that has to be discovered, and I can explain and give them a framework under which to determine good and evil. There are those who want to be left alone and those who won't leave them alone. And so he grew up going to events. Some of my children's earliest memories or first memories would be at some event or activism or on the street or sleeping on the sidewalk while we're protesting at, April 15th at the post office. I remember one time some lady goes, I think you should take care of your children first or something like that. And I turn around and there's Corsair just laying on the sidewalk asleep. And I'm going, which was regular for him. I mean, he'd go warp speed all the time. And all of a sudden you turn around, he'd be laying in the middle of the floor or on the stairs or, in the yard. So, I mean, he'd go warp speed and I'll say, and he's done. And I'm finished. Boom, down. So it was a lot of times that we made family events. You know, it was a picnic thing with a sign. It was a, go see an event or something with pamphlets. Yeah, we're going to the library with petitions. So they were involved. They got bribed. I mean, they always got the movies and pizza and so on, or the help stuffed envelopes or something like that. So they grew up with this. This was their life. And but when they started becoming teenagers, when they going through puberty, junior high, and they started going to a private school here in Arizona, Phoenix Christian Junior Senior High. Man, you want to see a bunch of www.warmonger.com Bush stickers, man. I mean, that's where you go. So it was, we did. Those good years. Don and I knew we were doing the right thing, and we sacrificed to make sure that, the public school, I was so out of it. I just no, I'm not doing it. I already know this is child abuse. I'm not, they can stay home, man. Roam free. There's a desert. But, so we focused on that, and I'm so glad we did. As time went on, we were poor. We were the poor kids at the school. But, they were very accomplished. They did well in sports. They did well academically. They got along with everybody. And so we were an ad. And there was a lot of vacations that they went on with other families. And even, those families, we went on some with them. They would, wealthy people pay for. They're nice to have around, earning his crazy libertarian whatever stuff. But, he's not too unruly, so he's not that libertarian. Little did they know. But this experience built up to where when he first became aware of how bad it really was, all my kids, he got involved in this Trump thing. And when we come back, we'll talk about it. We don't talk about it that much. It's not even really a Trump thing. It's how bad and evil the establishment is on so many levels. Went to the Trump rally, tell you about it. From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Okay, so that's kind of the background of my family. My son got involved. It was the Pizzagate thing. It was, he just researching the Podesta files and the email Clinton let him get. Yeah, they're bad. They're bad. They did what? They did what? I checked what? And they what? And he did. Once you started going down that rabbit hole, the same thing happened to me with, it was commerce. It was foreign trade, and it's just once you start pulling a thread, then and if you understand it or you have some investment in it, and it was through my father's company and wanting to save America, exporting and so on, and it was his family. He has 4 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, great, life ahead of. And there's the man, just being bad. They're bad. So he started pulling threads, and all of a sudden it came this Q thing. And Q is just, somebody doing something. It was, my son rarely calls me. And when he does, it's always, go here, do this. I mean, we communicate, and if it takes more than, 6 words in a text, man, you wasted my time, that kind of deal. But on this, man, he was animated. He's like, it's like, you should have told me, Dad. I mean, wow. I mean, I've gone through this a lot. I've seen a lot of pedophile government. It's like a minimum job. I say on the show, I go, yeah, pedophilia is like a minimum job requirement. They got to have that over you before they allow you to be, senator or congressman or something. It's so bad. And we went through a lot of these different scandals since the 80s. The Franklin scandal was there's so many. It's just, so this was, it's them by their fruits, the kind of people they are, and the mechanisms that they use. And Daddy Bush, being CIA guy, man, he definitely played this up, and the Clintons definitely used it to their advantage. That's why all these FBI files just went missing into the White House, during the Clinton administration. There's so much stuff that is yet to even come out. And Trump is, promised, we're going to get her down to 9/11. We're going to get down to, when Khashoggi winds up dead. So, this is, there's so many things And then he started coming across on his own research and Dad, did you know? Can they? Well, then they are. To maintain, enhance, and expand their intrusiveness in our government and empower themselves and strip us of blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's why I say all that stuff. So he went his path. I'm supportive. Whatever you need to help and do it. So when Frank and Tim and Keith, none of the guys could go to the Trump rally this last Friday, I called my son and I said, are you planning on going? Yes, I am. And I'm going to take, because it's out by him. He lives out in the East Valley there, so it wasn't that big a deal. So he goes, and I'm going to take, one of my two oldest kids, one, a girl, 9 years old, one, a boy, 8 years old. They had the same birthday. Her first birthday, she got a baby brother. So they, and once you say, oh, yeah. Well, you got to stand in line for at least 6-7 hours. You're going to have to stand. And my grandson, I think I'll decline. My granddaughter, she's like, I can do that. I'm a writer. And she writes on, daily. It's got journals and diaries, and we get her a bunch of stuff. She's really good and encouraging at that young age. It's amazing. She puts forth the effort. And it's a consistent desire to tell stories and so on. And when she found out that we could publish Pirates Without Borders, the book, the Letters of Mark, Freedom's Phoenix, or, Pirates Without Borders, it'll come up on Amazon, or just go to the archive for the show and you'll see the ads there. And, and the design contest, you go to pirateswithoutborders.com and you'll see forum. You go to the forum, and then one of the categories is design contest. Cameron has set up the structure. We haven't got to it yet. We'll probably wait till after the election and get on, and then we'll start focusing on that and get it all, started.